Hello and welcome to the 500th Fox Friday 2020 race. This is the 500th ever Fragmasters Fox Friday, so it's quite a monumental event. Just under 10 years this race has been running. 502 weeks, 500 races, so there's only been 2 Fridays that have been missed in its entire history, which is really incredible. And this race we have a full turnout. We have 40 cars that are currently out for qualifying. Deco will join us for commentary very shortly. Just letting all the drivers qualify before we see who the top 40 drivers are. So Deco can then join the server and join me on comms. So yeah, 40 really experienced drivers here tonight. There's no one who is particularly new. Recognise just about everybody in the server currently. Got some really old names and some really rather new names from the history of this league. So tonight's format will be one-shot qualifying, which is currently happening. So the drivers leave the pits, do one out lap, one hot lap, and then spectate or do an in-lap. And then we'll have a 50-minute race around the GP Long configuration at Kyoto, KY3. Then there'll be a short break with a 15-minute open track qualifying session, so everybody on track at the same time trying to set a lap. And then there'll be another 50-minute race on the reverse configuration. There was some talk in the pre-race chat about just leaving it on KY3, so I guess they'll see what the drivers feel like in the break, and yeah, we'll see what actual configuration we use for the second race. But at the moment it's penciled in to be the reverse configuration, so a little bit of fun, a track that the drivers will probably not have done any practice on because they'll be focusing on practice for the first race. So yeah, the race should probably get underway in about 6 or 7 minutes at 9 o'clock GMT. We'll just let the drivers sort themselves out for qualifying. There's only a couple more drivers left to join, and then Deco will join me in comms for the start. For those of you just joining in, We are just waiting for the drivers to qualify for the 500th Fox Friday event run by Fragmasters. There's about 10 cars left to go out. So just over 40 drivers are going to be doing qualifying. That'll be obviously whittled down to 40 drivers. Deco will be joining me on commentary as soon as all of the drivers are qualified, because the space will open up on the server. And then we'll get going for two 50-minute races, which will be 22 laps each. So first the drivers are doing a one-shot qualifying, one out lap, one hot lap, and then spectate. And that's it for qualifying for the grid for the first race. And then the combo will be reversed, so we'll be driving it GP Long reversed for the second race, and that will be preceded by a 15-minute open track qualifying. So all 40 drivers will be on track at once, trying to find space, grab some draft, set a good lap for the reverse track race. We are starting a little bit behind today, so there might be a little bit of a wait before the start, but this is going to be a very, very epic couple of races, so definitely worth hanging around for. We'll see who's still waiting to go out for a lap, and we'll jump on board with whoever's next out. So yeah, we've got a couple of people leaving pits at the moment. I will turn the stream on. We can watch someone do a lap. So let's just see, is Unite about to start a lap or is he about to finish a lap? He's starting a lap, so let's jump into the game and go on board with Unite for one lap of GP Long. So nice fast first corner, just down one gear for that. And then there's this nice double left-hander sweeping section. And then this short run to turn 3 where drivers are going to slipstream past each other. And then there's a hard braking zone for the 90 right at the end of this straight. Easy back onto the power. Don't want to run it out to the grass there because you're going to spin out. Then this lovely set of S's up to the first split, which is here. He gets a little bit on the curb, over revs a little bit, so we've lost a bit of time. Run out nice and wide, use all the curb. Get the car back over to the right for this next straight into that corner. This is where most people go off on the first lap because they're in the draft, and you're flat out through here. You run it right out to the edge when you're in the draft, and sometimes you can drop a wheel and fly off onto the grass and into the barrier. Now we've got the arena section, down one gear, slam it onto the limiter, touch for a really late apex and then run out wide onto the oval. Use all of the apron and then stay low on the oval, maximising the speed past the oval pit lane. Clip the apex halfway down the pit lane, stick over to the right for the wall and then flat out across the chicane. Nice, didn't cut the track, kept 2 wheels on the track at all times, and then we're coming up to the final hairpin. Hardest braking zone on the track, slowest speed on the track as well. Really important to get a nice exit out of here, a little bit of a slide, but that's nice. There's the pit entry, rounds the final corner, he's going to stick all the way over to the left, or not. He makes the track a bit wider for himself there. And he crosses the line. So yeah, he'll now spectate, and we'll see where he ends up once everybody's done their lap, as he crashes into the wall. Alright, let's watch Teo Christian, who's just leaving the pits to start his outlap and his hot lap. We'll see how he gets on. So yeah, he'll be doing a nice, hopefully slow outlap to bring his tyres up to temp. Yeah. Lifting off nice and early so he doesn't get too much heat into the tyres. It's a good combo for the, well, a good track choice for the 500th race. Very, very few braking zones and mostly flat out in the Fox around KY3. So there's going to be lots of pack racing, lots of opportunities. But it's really important around here to stay in your opponent's draft, because otherwise you end up dropping quite a lot of time when you're not in the slipstream. So yeah. He's going to let someone through. This is someone on a hot lap underneath him. Who's that on a hot lap? That is Sidus Altsu. Probably he set the fastest time in practice, I do believe, so Sidus Altsu is on his hot lap. But we're going to stick with Christian, who I do believe is in contention for pole position here, so be interesting to see if he can wind together a lap that's good enough for pole. Altsu obviously used to be a Teo driver, but has since joined Sidus along with Rick Cardle and Botzi for this race. So out of the final corner comes Christian as he winds up the car ready for his hot lap. Let's go on board. Around the final corner, over to the inside. And across start finish we go. As he heads on to his hot lap. Stays over to the left, brakes at the 50-meter board, chucks the car in, no down change of gear. Onto this short run up to turn 3. Oh, he did go down a gear, my mistake. Heavy braking for turn 3 now, down 3 gears. Oh, runs a little bit over the grass, has to lift off a bit. Now into this tricky, twisty, uphill S section. Don't want to get any wheels on the curbs here because you're going to over-rev. The rear differential in this car does not like you going onto curbs in that section. Through that corner. Easily flat in these cars when you're not following someone. Then up to the arena section, down 1 gear. Nope, he opts to. Oh no, there we go. Late change of gear. Hugs it nicely on the inside. Doesn't quite apex, but still manages to carry plenty of speed out into the oval. Stays nice and low, close to the apron. He's taking quite a tight line for the next corner. He's going to need to move all the way over to the left and then flat through the chicane. Takes quite a bit of grass there, but that should be alright. Just a little bit of grass on his tyres to watch out for in the hairpin. See if he can get it all sorted out on the exit here. Runs quite deep, quite late on the power, so no slide though, which is important. So we'll see how this is when everyone's done their lap. Run down the order. Over to the inside then. And And a cross start finish for Christian as he goes onto the grass to finish his lap. I think everybody is out of the pits now. Oh no, we've got yet more drivers who are leaving the pits to start laps. This is Gabor. Gabor was another one of the drivers who was right up there in practice. He's just spectated, so whether he's got the wrong setup on or something. Maybe he's just accidentally joined. But yeah, I do think that everybody has done their, or is on. There's a couple of people still on a quali lap. This is Teo Pantheo, who's literally just started his hot lap. So he should be, unless there's anybody else waiting to go out, he should be the last person across the line. Let's double check to see if anyone else is winding up for a lap. This is Teo Young Tommy B. Not sure whether he's gearing up for a lap or whether he's on one. We shall see. There is someone leaving the pits. Who's that? Oh, it's Cabazon. So yeah, Cabazon will be the last person across the line. Unless there really are some late joiners. We're already pushing, it's already 10 past 9 GMT, so it's going to be a long evening, folks. Who's that leaving the pits? AA Rain, Air Attack Rain. Really experienced Fox driver. I mean, everybody here is experienced. It's going to be a titanic battle up and down the grid. Hopefully we get some nice clean fights. But yeah, it's a 2.5 minute outlap and then a 2.5 minute lap, so pretty much. So it's going to be another 5 minutes at least before we're even considering gridding up here. So go and pop on the kettle and make yourself a cup of tea, because it's going to be a long one. Looking forward to having Deco join me in the booth. Soeren's taking a nice slow outlap here. Apparently we've got Botsy on pole, the 2:15.3. Not really surprising. Botsy is an alien in these cars, very experienced. One of the best single-seater drivers in the for speed currently. Still 3 cars left out on track, so yeah, it does look like Rain will be the last driver across the line. All eyes will be on him, so no pressure. About 10 seconds up the road, we've got Cabazon, so hopefully they don't tangle during their outlaps and hot laps. Ahead of them is J.A. Catilla. J.A. Catilla is about to start his one and only hot lap in this one-shot qualifying session. As we do in fact have another driver. This is a really late run from Roda Preza Sick, so yeah, not ideal. Like I said, it's very, very long outlap, and he's going to get in the way of Catilla here if he's not careful. Yep, he's seen. He's backing off. He's waiting. Not a helpful place to be on the track. That's Cabazon actually. Is that Cabazon? Yeah, that was Cabazon just starting his lap. So J.A. Catilla's in the middle of this lot. Pantheo's rejoined the track. He's not allowed another lap. Nope. He joins the spectators. As Rain is about to start his one and only hot lap. Let's go on board with Rain. See how he does. I'm not sure if Rain's using VR. He sometimes does, sometimes doesn't. So a little bit wide for turn 1 there. That wasn't ideal. Missed the apex completely, so I won't be happy with that. Not a great way to start off your hot lap. As he makes his way down to turn 1. Sorry, not turn 1, turn 3. I can't count. No slide out of turn 3. It's a lovely section to drive this in the FOX. just flat out all the way until the arena section where you drop down a gear. So from turn 3 all the way to turn 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 probably, all flat out. You will have to lift through this corner during the race if you're following someone closely, because otherwise you'll be off into the gravel and then the wall. Doesn't really hit any apexes during there, so lost a little bit of speed there. Needs to hug the line a little bit to get the best line into the chicane. And it looks like he's backed off or something. I don't know what that was. Yeah, he lifted off through the chicane. That's something we don't see from many people here, because you can just straight line it in this car. So much downforce, really grippy tyres. So decided to err on the side of caution through the chicane. So this won't be pole, it won't be anywhere near pole, but a safe lap nonetheless from rain. So he comes across the line. So yeah, just one driver remaining then, Sick, who has just started his one and only hot lap. Comes down to turn 3. We'll watch the track from the outside for this lap. A little bit of a slide on. Road oppressor, of course, made up of primarily Brazilian drivers. Some of the most stable pings from Brazilian drivers I've ever seen in sim racing, which is probably a credit to those guys, having a good internet connection from the South Americas, which is often challenging. Sick goes through that corner, runs nice and wide, doesn't drop any wheels off as he comes under the Chromo Bridge for the arena section. Nice and flat, just down one gear, finds the apex, runs it out wide onto the oval. Using all of the apron until the barrier. It's a technique that quite a lot of the fast drivers use. Into sector 3 then. Final sector, just one more chicane and a hairpin to go. Heavy on the brakes, a little bit of a lock up, runs a bit deep, manages to get it back. Gradually on the power. Nice and sensible. And he rounds the last bend. This will be the last driver to cross the line in qualifying. And then we can get the grid order for the first race. So yeah, there should be a short break now. Maybe a bit of a practice session. And then we will be underway here. See all the drivers streaming out of the pits for some practice. Yep, the timer is up. We have a 300-second timer up for the start of the race. And we can welcome Deco into the booth. Hi, Deco. Hello. I don't know if you're talking, but I cannot hear your microphone. Apologies. Don't seem to be able to hear Deco right now. He just needs to sort his microphone out.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh,
Welcome.
welcome.
All ready to go for this first of two 50 lap, not 50 laps, that'll take all night. 50-minute races, 22 laps.
Yes, I think we are.
210 seconds left, whatever that converts to in minutes to go until the start, until the grid. Could you quickly run us down the order?
Yes, let me make that just a little closer to my face. So, good qualifying, good competitive. Botsy is going to start first on pole at 2 minutes 15.3 seconds. 14 hundredths of a second behind TJ on 15:49, 15:56. Gabor, so kind of close, top 3, actually top 5 really. 5th and 6th separated by 10th. 1st through 5th separated by 1.5 seconds. 4th is Altsud and Borislav Botev in 5th on 2:15.9. Pedro will be 7th. 6th, I'm sorry, skipped to Semilian. So 7th is Pedro. Cody in 8th. Nico Pantola, Nico PDR from Genuine Racing in 9th on 2:16.25.
He's just pinned it in turn 1.
Everyone's having a little bit of fun in there. It's just some warm-up here. Trying to get some stress out before the race starts. So yeah, Kamikaze 10th, Christian Tejo GP's Christian 11th, Sidious Cardall in 12th, Young Tommy B from Tejo in 13th, World Class Lions Kaimanen in 14th, 15th is Ayub, Sick in 16th, 17th is Mega 9th, or 18th Simon, Race Greens Mandula 19th. 2 FMers 20th and 21st, Finn UK and Payson. TRR Texas 22nd, 23rd is B2R's Eva. 24th is Dudu. 25th is Tejo's Nagatny. Yaroslav Donilik in 26th. And Mercedes Michael in 27th. We're into the mid 217s here in the mid pack.
So about 2 seconds off the pace. Kind of mid-pack.
About 2 seconds off. You had to get at least a 2:19.65 to get into this particular grid. That was the bottom. But the back third of the grid now, beat our Brian in 28th. 29th is Pantheo. 30th is wasn't so sorry. The kind of track pictures blending in a little bit for me, making my old eyes a little difficult to see. Etienne in 21st. Karz from Tejo in 32nd. Rain from Air Attack Team in 33rd. 34th is Katita from World Class Lines. Besa, who I believe is streaming this race on YouTube, is 35th. I think Mendel is also doing an onboard stream of
Mandula does an onboard stream, yeah. There's a few drivers doing it.
So in addition to ours, we've got 2 others going on that you can also check out. If you get multiple monitors, spread them out there. 36th is Bilo. Red Bottoms is 37th, Rubsty 38th, Rocket in 39th, and coming up the back is FM's Eagle. So 40 cars for a full Fox grid here at Kyoto GP Long. It's a very long track, so 40 cars would be a lot somewhere like, I don't know, let's say Aston Cadet or Blackwood or even at Kyoto National, but here at Kyoto GP Long, I think they'll be able to spread out a little bit.
They're not going to want to spread out though, as I mentioned in qualifying, because the draft is going to be really critical to stay kind of in contention with the guys ahead. We'll end up with probably quite a few little packs towards the middle of each race. But yeah, at the beginning it's going to be really important to stick to the gearbox of the cars in front as best you can through the low downforce sections.
One of the most important corners on this circuit is the long spoon curve in the arena section just before you come back onto the oval. If you get an exit to that really right, you're going to carry a few more clicks through the oval section. If you bodge that turn up, you're going to suffer. And someone that's a second behind you can get a great slipstream, and you are a sitting duck by the time you come onto the oval pit straight.
Yeah, I'm on board now with Vaser, who's about to take that said corner. Normally you just drop down one gear and hug the apex all the way around. If anyone's running out wide there or giving up too much time, and if someone behind you is going to get a slipstream, then that's bad news. 5 seconds to go until the grid for race 1. 50 minutes or 22 laps of KY3 Kyoto GP Long in the FOX is about to get underway. The 500th Fox Friday event run by Fragmasters. That's just about 10 years worth of these races that have been going on. We have Botsy on pole. Rodapeza TJ in second. Gabor in third. So we'll see how this goes on the run down to turn 1.
40 car. It's a very long run down to turn 1. So there's going to be a lot of slipstream, and they're going to be as wide as the track into turn 1.
And they're off. Botsy leads everyone away then. He's going very defensive already, keeping out of all the slipstream. There's 2 lines forming. TJ on the outside, trying to run it around the outside, makes the move onto the grass. We've got a huge contact behind. We'll stay with the front for now, because Botsy and TJ side by side for the lead here. TJ on the outside for turn 3. Botsy giving his teammates some draft behind. Botsy has the line, but can TJ hold it around the outside? Side by side, very clean. Botsy maintains the lead there, given a bit of room to... Yep, so TJ drops at the back a little bit, as we expected, through the high aero section. Botsy's managed to pull a bit of a gap. So yeah, there's going to be a train of 3 cars behind now.
And the race has been... There's been a vote restart on the race.
So yeah,
there were only about... It looked to me like about 5 or 6 cars
that
involved.
Is not normally... Yeah, that's not normally enough to warrant a full restart in Fox Friday. So that's a bit... Yeah, that was a bit strange.
So I know Nico Pantola was one of the first cars I saw. It was basically about 8th on back. It was just the usual first turn happenings. It didn't look on the first blush.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem with that is now that this has to be cleaner, else the first restart will seem unnecessary. So hopefully we get a really clean start here for the driver's sake, because that's really, it's quite strange to see a full restart on Fox Friday. So here we go again then. Botsy running up to turn 1. Same story. TJ threatening the outside. Opts to stay behind this time. Keep it clean, guys.
And we do have an off at the back, Brian, when we have Etienne. So it is the back third again, and there's an immediate vote to restart again.
Yeah, they can't restart again. They need to run this out. This is, the accident's happened much further back down the grid. It's TJ's been pushed off by Botsy. TJ dropping down the order. Here he is going to rejoin. He needs to be safe with this rejoin. Yeah, he's rejoined all the way down in 12th. That is a disaster for him. He's alongside his teammate. Let's head back to the front. Botsy's opened up a little bit of a gap to Altsu, his teammate, so it's a Sidus 1-2 currently. Then we've got Gabor behind. Gabor's going to have the slipstream. Altsu goes defensive. Gabor makes the move around the outside into that corner. That is a nice move. You don't often see people going around the outside there, so Altsu kind of giving Gabor some space. Right, let's head back forward onto the oval, see if anyone gets into a draft battle here. We've got 2 cars going side by side pretty much out onto the oval. Who's that? That is Code, who is right next to Rick and Pedro. Pedro on the inside. Here we've got Code moving to the inside on Botev. Botev maintains the lead there. Code definitely left him the necessary room. Didn't want to be side by side through that chicane.
There were a few more offs in the mid-pack and back at the coming before the hard right-hander, in the section before the hard right-hander, before the spoon. And there's been some discussion from some of those racers about restarting, but we have gotten rid of most of that, and this race is going to continue, I believe.
Good. We're well over a lap in now, so hopefully that's it. We've got almost a 3 wide into turn 1 at the front, with Pedro on the inside of Rick Cardle. Rick manages to stay ahead just about, but Pedro is going to have a run on him, so let's go on board. Yeah, immediately moves to the inside for turn 3. He's alongside Rick right now.
Watch Nico. Nico's got a big run from drafting.
Nico has got a big
3
draft.
wide. Pedro with a bit of contact down there.
Bit of
Nico's going to
contact.
jump both of them.
Yeah, that's a nice move there from Nico. So yeah, Nico the big winner there, making two places in 1 corner. Anyone who followed along to the TRR Championship race on Tuesday will know that Unite made a move on the last lap to take, it's a really high position away from 2 drivers on the last corner. So he's not a stranger to making up loads of places in not many corners. As they're going 2 wide again behind, no, they file out into 1 continuous line. So ahead we've got Botzi, followed by Gabor, then it's Altsu, then it's FFM Sermelan, switching from Sonic Realms Racing. I'm not sure how long he's been a member of FM, but back in the day he would have been a member of Sonic Realms. Then it's Fast and Crazy B-Bot-F in 5th, followed by Code in 6th. Then we go back to Jenna Unite, Nico in 7th. Then it's Roda Preza Pedro in 8th, followed by Rick Cardle in 9th, and P. Koivunen, who is being attacked from behind by Young Tommy B through the chicane. Young Tommy B gets the slipstream, has to
fly
across the grass. Yeah, it's that slipstream we were talking about.
In the tin tops, the GTRs, you can do that and get away with it, but in these light and just twitchy cars,
sorry to interrupt,
does cost you.
Sermelan went off at the hairpin. Sermelan is way down the order. He's down to 18th now. So our really experienced FOX driver has come a cropper at the tricky braking zone into the hairpin and has gone off and is now down to 18th place. Someone else rejoining here right at the hairpin. Not sure who that was. It's possible they've spectated already. I do believe that Gabor is catching Botzi here. There can be no doubt that gap has definitely come down.
He is almost half, at least a third of a second faster. Last lap for Botzi was a 2:17.1, and it was a 2:16.86 for Gabor. He is catching him hand and fist as they come into the sweep section. Chris Ford and I, back in Master of Endurance time, started calling this section the sweeps. It's a fast-flowing, undulating section. You get a good run out of the hard right-hander, the 90-degree right-hander, and get a good run through here. You're going to have there's a nice long slipstream down here that you can catch up. You can't really go side by side through this corner here, turn 9. We always named it that corner. It was a very troublesome corner. That corner. In the Grand Touring Amateur League 2009, we had an almighty crash coming through that corner. There was a tailwind going into that corner, and all those big wing GTRs were getting pushed in that corner. Everyone on the first lap wasn't expecting it. Everyone went off on the outside, and we had an almighty carambolage.
I think the only move that's going to happen here is between Botev and Code. Botev moves to the inside for the chicane. Who's going to yield? Botev has the line. Code yields. Sensible. So Code drops down to 5th. He's now going to be under attack by Unite. That lift has really cost him there. So Unite's going to be on the inside for the hairpin. Yeah, he's already made the place. So he has to brake nice and easily and see if he makes the place stick down the straight or struggles to get the power down. Code's all over the back of him. So this isn't over. Let's go on board with Code. Code is going to try and get Nico back before turn 1 here. He's going to have it done easily by the time he's crossing start finish. There they go, side by side.
He will get a good run on Botev. If not into corner 1, he will be close to him going into turn 3-4.
Yeah. Oh, he's run wide onto the grass. Oh, wow, that's impressive to keep that on the road. Nico's going to have a go at him now, look.
Oh, and Nico's going to get an extra boost, and he's going to collect Botev. I don't think he's going to get there here at 3, but on the way up the hill through the sweeps,
yeah,
he's going to stay right on his back. Downforce is really important in this section. So you don't want to get too close. You will lose some of that downforce and not be able to hug as tight. So he's going to want to stay just a bit back, catch him, and see if he can't sneak on him. Look at that. He's starting to look at that. He's getting a good slipstream. He's a little wide here through 7.
Yeah, he's not staying in the draft. He's trying to stay out of it so he doesn't catch him in that corner. He's going to want a nice run onto the oval.
Yeah.
So,
and he was also doing that because I don't think he wanted to give Code much of a draft. Code didn't follow him. So I think they were just playing a little strategy to wait till the oval section. Code is going to get a slipstream on Unite. Unite's going to get it on Botev. Pedro will get it off of all 3 of them. Coming on, we may have a bit of a contention going down here into the chicane.
3 laps gone in the first race. It's going to be a long race, this. So yeah, Code. Oh, Nico's binned it! Oh, he's in the wall. That's unlucky. That's going to be some suspension damage. He manages to hold it just about, but yeah, that's going to be some hefty damage that he's picked up there. Drops down to 10th, 11th.
He escaped with little damage.
Wow, that's
He's got
impressive.
A little bit of upper and lower control arms on the left front, the tiniest bit left rear, more damper damage than anything. But he's going to box this lap.
Box, yeah. There is a forced pit in this race. I did allude to mention that. You have to make a pit stop during these races. So Nico's made an error. He opts to throw it in the pits. Probably wants to try and find some clean air, actually, because he doesn't want to get caught up in that traffic. That would be very bad. So, yeah, he's made his pit stop. So ahead we've got Botsy. There has been a move for second place. Altsu has managed to get past Gabor. I do wonder if that was a mistake from Gabor because the gap has opened up dramatically between him and Botsy. The gap between Altsu and Botsy has remained relatively the same. Yeah, it's definitely opened up a bit, but yeah, I'm going to put that down probably to a mistake from Gabor or something. So yeah, there's a bit of a gap back to
just
Code.
On the inside of...
oh yeah.
Just took the inside of Botev going into the 3rd corner, and we have Payson on the back of Botev coming up the hill through the sweepers, and just behind him is FFM Kamikaze.
So yeah, 2 FM teammates following each other through the sweeps, coming up to that corner. Wonder if these guys will work together to keep out of each other's way and just pick their way through the field. They're just outside the top 10 at this point. So they're going to want to kind of get involved in that action at some point, I'm sure. Let's go on board with Al Payson and see how he does heading onto the oval with Botev ahead of him.
Diamonds the corner a little bit. That is really at least a double apex corner. And Payson has done that as a bit of a short undercut, and he's going to drag race Botev down the oval pit straight. Payson has the inside for the chicane, and Botev surrenders the position before the chicane. So Payson's advanced a position, and looks like Kamikaze is going to get a slipstream and may get both of them. Ooh, gets very close to running off the course. Botev
gets hit. Oh, he's in the wall. He's in the wall. How did he fare for damage with that?
He's not got any at all from that. It was a very light tap on the wall and really good.
I'd be very surprised if he doesn't try to pit. Nope, there's a driver on his inside. He's not going to have to do that this lap. Oh, he was blocked from going in the pits there, so I guess that's unlucky. He's going to be battling with Michael for a lap, at least.
And Michael got around him, but Kamikaze has the slipstream, and looks like he will clear him almost simply.
We've got young Tommy B in the pits as he opts to make his pit stop. He pits out of 19th. He's already down to 23rd, so he's making his pit stop relatively early in this race. Botsy's still out front. He's yeah, Gabor and Altsu aren't letting him get away, so to speak. The gap is holding steady, but yeah, it's Gabor is, if anything, dropping off the back of Altsu now. So it's a side S1-2 here, but a huge gap back to Code.
Just taking a look at the all the tires for everyone, tire temperatures. Not much heat is getting generated in these tires, so they're still dancing. There's a lot of dancing going around. Grip is a little difficult in some of these corners. I'm not seeing much heat in any of these tires.
Sermelan is up to 9th again, so he's made good pace. We should expect it from him. Like, he's a very, very experienced FOX driver. He's at most of these, has been at most of these races over the last few years. He's going to have a run on Ayub into the chicane, you'd think, from this distance. Stays in the draft. Where's he going to go? He moves to the outside.
He's going to take the outside. But he will clear him before the kinks even
Ayub's lifted. Ayub's lifted on him. So yeah, that's a nice clean move for Sermi. Up to 8th. See if anyone opts to come into the pits this lap for their pit stop. Most of the front runners will pit as late as possible. They don't want to be caught in traffic, so you tend to see the front of the field in these races pitting really late. Some people might have factored into their strategy for a bit of fuel, maybe if they want to save some weight at the beginning of the race, but generally, the later you pit, the better you'll fare.
Kamikaze and Michael coming side by side out of the first corner. Heading down to turn 3. Kamikaze will take P13 from Michael. Michael's going to try and stick it around the outside and stay with him, or try an undercut. And unfortunately doesn't get any of that. So Kamikaze does take 13th. Michael staying back in 14th.
Nice clean move there up the inside into turn 3. It's one of the easier passing places on the lap that doesn't involve too much drama normally. It's not quite the heaviest braking zone on the track. The hairpin is definitely the sketchiest place to overtake. The chicane is probably second on that list.
There's plenty of runoff, so you've got room to make a mistake and not have too many histrionics. You can easily get crossed up if someone tries to make a late defensive maneuver. We've seen that in years past in the LFS. So there's potential for tete. But generally, everything is clean, and we have Botev being overtaken by Christian, Tejo, and Tejo working on... Oh no, Christian's going to yield back and sit behind Botev.
As Botev runs it on the grass again, he's been doing that a lot. He's just been trying to get as much speed through there as possible, but yeah, track limits abuse going on as expected at KY3 without the Boothie chicane. The Boothie chicane, by the way, is implemented basically into the actual track in the next update. The Boothie chicane is obviously it turns it into less of a chicane and more of a corner, shall we say, Deco?
Right now, it's kind of like the chicane is more or less, I would compare it to a very, very compressed Mazda King from the old Spa circuit. Because you just take it full pelt, and if you get it wrong, it usually hurts. But the Boothie chicane tightened up the first part of it, so you had to brake and slow down and actually change direction instead of just a quick flick of the wheel.
Just to interrupt you, sorry, Botev has moved to the outside on Payson. He's going to try and make the move around the outside, side by side. Ooh, that was close. Botev manages to overtake around the outside of turn 3. Sorry, you were talking about Boothie chicane.
Yeah, it was started. And we call it the Boothie chicane because Michael Boothie designed it and built it.
And now
it got used.
It's
immortalized.
Yeah,
it will be immortalized, yes. And I remember in a track map video that I had Chris Ford voice for an IGTC race here. And he says, "It's not really a corner. It's supposed to be a chicane. What do chicanes do? They slow cars down. Watch this. It doesn't. Bang, bang." So yeah, it when it was tightened up, it gave a cleaner overtaking, because with having to slow down, there's a lot less chance for just wild happenings. And it does bring in a bit of a braking zone.
We've got Ritsu in the pits.
Payson overtaking Botev again.
Sorry.
Payson overtaking Botev again, going into the chicane.
Botev takes a very wide line again. Oh my goodness.
That is
there's someone off the track. Was that Sermi again? So Sermi's having another problem, but
got it wrong through the chicane. I'm absolutely certain.
Oh, Botev's in the wall.
Botev, and he's upside down.
He's upside down. How did that happen? I missed that. So yeah, drama. Sermi, as far as I know, has spectated out of the race. I can't see him on my list, so Sermi's out.
Yes, he did.
We're down to 34 drivers out of 40. Hopefully they'll stick around for the second race. It is a very, very long event this tonight to mark the 5th. I keep saying 500th. Stop me. 500th race of Fox Friday. I need to learn how to numbers, apparently.
I will load up a second instance of LFS and look at what happened to Botev there. And Sermian while I'm at it.
Yeah, please do. Let us know what happened there. Botsy holding station against Altsu and Gabor. He's running away at the front, honestly. There's a huge gap between Altsu and Gabor and basically anybody else on the track right now. Code's a couple of corners behind. Pedro is probably catching Code. Haven't been paying much attention to that gap, but they're relatively close compared to everybody else. It really is stringing out now, so that pack racing I was talking about at the beginning isn't really happening. Drivers are really struggling to stick with each other, so I guess one little mistake in the draft or one little mistake ahead and you really do end up dropping back a little bit. Closest group at the moment is probably this battle between Al Payson of FM being chased down by Teo Christian. Teo, the blue and cyan livery, and the cyan and yellow livery, and Al from FM in the yellow honeycomb livery ahead.
Sermian had a spin after touching one of the sleeping policemen just inside the chicane, and now I'm just observing Botev, and he had a bit of contact with Payson, and Botev just flipped it, hitting the end of the tire wall just before the final hairpin.
Christian keeps yielding out of pretty good opportunities into the chicane. That's the second time I've seen him do that now. He was basically alongside Payson. He had the line. And Botev is still not spectated, by the way. Maybe he's waiting for one of your notorious safety cars, Deco. He's just waiting there on his roof, off the racing line.
He will be sorely disappointed.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Like, did you look into his contacts?
With Botev? Yeah, he had he got kind of tipped by Payson, I believe it was. I said, and
right. So I was too busy looking at the action.
Yeah, he was slightly tapped by Payson going to the chicane. It just sent him straight off, and then he hit the conveyor belt that comes from the wall to the front of the tire barriers to wrap the tire barriers, and it just tipped him up right there.
He's storming ahead here. It's nearly the whole of that straight between the sweeps and that corner ahead of Altsu and Gabor. I tell you, Gabor is certainly a driver who's been improving over recent months. He didn't used to be a front of the grid driver at all, but has really, really improved. Been seeing him in more and more events on LFS. Really nice guy, really quick guy, improving all the time, and you know, he's keeping Altsu honest in this race. Altsu is notoriously one of the fastest Fox drivers in the game, constantly at the front of the grid. Sometimes Altsu can get pretty unlucky at the start of races, getting tangled up with other drivers. I know I've certainly been in a few where he's become a cropper from first lap incidents. Bottas still on his roof there, or roll bar.
I will be interested to see what happens with the pit stops for these top 5 or 10. It is a very treacherous pit in. It's very inviting to take it as tight as possible so you can take it as fast as possible, because the pit limit speed line isn't for another 50 meters or so after the pit entry chicane. There are no curbs to help you, it's just grass, and that grass is slick as ice.
Christian is making a move. Christian is making a move for 9th. He's made it. He's on the inside. Sorry to interrupt you, Deco. Can resume in a second. He's made the move stick. Christian has finally got past Payson. Took him 3 or 4 laps to do that. Payson's now going to be under pressure from Kamikaze. Sorry, you were saying.
Well, yeah, the pit entry here, this Kamikaze is
also making his way around the outside.
To Payson for a second.
Yep.
But yeah, this pit entry, you want to take it as fast as you can, because as we all know, pit entry, pit exit, you can gain loads of time. And you still have plenty of time to slow down before the pit limit speed line, so cars will still come in there at 100 to 120k. You can easily clip the grass by trying to clip it, and you're sideways in the pit entrance. So, as much as Botsi has advantage right now over Altsu, if Botsi tries to push just that little bit too hard coming to pit lane, he could end up losing the lead on that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's a pit lane that can definitely bite you, and also I know a lot of the drivers cut the grass to gain a bit of time in there. You know, not very realistic, but the tyre model in LFS and the grass model is such that you can get away with, you know, all these shortcuts and things. So a lot to be lost at the pit stop here, especially since slowing this car down on older tyres can be difficult. We did notice through that corner, Kamikaze was catching Payson, and you would have noticed on the stream that he lost a lot of downforce through there because he was following him just that little bit too closely, and he's now dropped out of draft range pretty much from Payson ahead of him, as Bottas still there, causing a yellow flag down in that sector.
In these cars, that corner is generally taken without really coming off the throttle, and just enough of a tap of the brake to transfer their weight to the front wheels to get the mechanical bite to turn through the corner.
We've got Payson in the pits. I need to stop interrupting you. All the action keeps happening.
I'm used to it.
Got Payson, and we've got Jaroslav Donelik. Not sure who that is. One of the drivers I don't know the names of, who's come into the pits. Finn UK is coming into the pits as well. He makes his stop in 20th. But yeah, sorry for interrupting. Back to the action. Oh, Vaser! Oh, nearly forcing Eagle off the road there as he rejoined. Vaser getting overtaken now by Engottini from Teo. This is quite a battle down the pack. We have lost another driver. We're down to 33, so I don't know who that was.
Bottev earlier was asking if can reset could be enabled so he could reset his car and continue.
That's cheeky. That's never going to happen. Not mid-race.
And he just said, restart after 12 laps will be a good idea, I think. Botzi our race leader, is currently working his 12th lap of 22. There will be 10 circuits remaining after this.
Yeah, so we are halfway through so far. Yeah, just coming up to halfway.
Very clean, no dramas from him so far.
Second pit stop from Ridzu. At some point, he's made 2 pit stops in this race. Not sure why.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, but I believe the race following this was going to be the other way around this circuit.
Yes, I believe so. There was some chat before you arrived that they might just do 2 of the same. That might be sensible given that no one will have done any practice for it, guaranteed. People only tend to do practice for the first race. This is not the normal format for Fox Fridays, for those of you who are interested in getting involved. Who's that going off? Rocket has binned it in a big way at the chicane. He has actually binned it in a big way, and who was that he hit? Was that Simon? I can't remember. Anyway, Rocket is going to be down the pit lane with that, unless he's...
I believe that was Fin UK just up ahead of...
Was it Fin UK that he clipped?
Rocket.
It was not. It was not.
Oh
Fin
no,
UK.
there's one. There's a lapped car, I believe, that was...
Must have been a lap car, yeah, because it doesn't appear on my list. So...
Oh yeah, it might be Ridzu.
Possibly, yes, it looked like that. So, yeah,
he was a little slow.
Moving out the way. Is he going to put it down the pit lane? He is, with that crooked nose. Oh, struggling to turn it in a little bit there. Nice and gently into pit road. See what I'm saying about these grass patches? They can be cut by drivers who just send it flying into the pit lane, so he won't have a problem with the speed limit. Puts it to first gear, limited to 80 km an hour in his setup, so that's going to be a long old pit stop for Rocket. That's his race well and truly over.
I do believe, if I remember right from the last time I looked at the progress report from Kyoto, the last complex here, that hairpin and that little kink right after it, has been slightly reprofiled. I think the entrance is just a little bit tightened when you're coming from the other direction. I think the hairpin itself is largely unchanged, but it's that little complex right after it in this direction or right before it in this direction that's seen a bit of a...
Well, there's certainly a better runoff on it, that's for sure, during the reprofiling effort. It'd be really interesting to see how that track looks, because I know that the infield of the national section has been reprofiled somewhat.
Yeah, I think that's... It looked like there was a smaller pit lane added in there.
It does look, unless it... Yeah, it does look like that from the screenshots, unless it's just an
kind of
extended
like
paddock for the oval.
Yeah, it might be an extended paddock, or it might be kind of like Rockingham. You got the smaller paddock to serve the handling circuit. Yeah.
I do like how we are back in the territory of inspecting the screenshots that Scharf and the devs have been releasing, like on a minute level.
I was actually really pleased with them, because it looks like the character is going to be kept of this circuit.
Yeah.
Especially the GP circuit. The middle sector, the sweeps, a little bit here and there, but I think generally they're going to keep their same flow. That corner is about the same. I think if I saw the right angle, and I'm thinking of the right section, I think he did add a bit of a curb, driver's left coming into it in the configuration.
Oh. Sorry, that was red bottoms being forced across the speed bumps by MRC Mega there onto the home straight. Is that Rocket still in the pit lane? No, we've got Fin UK in for a second pit stop, so I'm not sure what's gone on there. Making a second pit stop. How strange. So yeah, Fin UK all the way down to 28th now.
That national reprofiling will be really interesting to actually drive it that first time.
Yeah, I'm really curious, because to be honest, Kyoto National is probably my second favourite combination in LFS with the GTRs. The XRR around Kyoto National is a dream to drive currently. Code is going to have the slipstream of Rick here. This is a move really high up, so this is the battle for 6th place.
Oh, it is.
He's cutting the track a little bit there, moving over the white line. So we'll see how
coming
this
across
goes.
the painted hatch.
He's well in front by turn 1, so that was an easy move, seeing as he used track limits to get around him. Oh, bit sideways. I reckon Rick's going to be close enough. Probably not.
He had to brake a little extra right on the apex. Otherwise, he's going to punt Code up the back.
Right, yeah, but he's not going to be
in the
close
first
enough
corner.
for a move here.
So that, yeah, and then when he had that pump those brakes just a little bit, it twitched him, and he lost some time right on the apex, and it killed him coming down the straight.
I mean, this is quite a close group up the front here, really, if you think about it. After, what, nearly 16 laps, we've got Code at the front of this group, then we've got Rick Cardle, as we've been watching him, and then we've got Ayub behind, and then Teo Christian not far behind. There's a back marker in there somewhere, and then we've got Kamikas, who's chasing up in 10th, so Botsy is on the oval. I mean, this is Kamikas just coming under the bridge, and Botsy's already around the first corner of the oval. I mean, this is a huge gap that Botsy's managed to open up here. Am I right in saying Botsy's pitted, in fact, because Gabor is in first currently. Botsy's down in 5th. Botsy has pitted. Yes, he has made a pit stop. So he's chosen to pit relatively early, I'd say, for a leader. Maybe he thought that, maybe he timed it and worked out that he'd drop into a nice gap behind P. Koivunen.
He's going through into the chicane right now. Just behind him is Code, and just ahead of him is Koivunen.
It's P. Koivunen, yeah. Be interested to see where Botsy comes out relative to Gabor when Gabor decides to make his pit stop. And Altsu actually. Altsu has not made a pit stop, and Gabor has got past Altsu. So Altsu has had a moment somewhere. It's no longer a Botsu Altsu 1-2. Gabor has got in there. There's a big gap between Gabor and Altsu now, so something's gone down. But we've missed. Yeah, it's about 5 second gap now between those two. Maybe 3 or 4 seconds.
Christian's made a pit stop. Just a splash and go.
There's someone I haven't seen for a while. Teo Cars and Fin UK are currently line astern, 27th and 28th. Fin UK was saying that this is his first race in FM, so he's been a long time MRC driver, and as recently as this week made the switch to the Fragmaster team for this, the 500th race. I said it right this time. Goes really wide onto the oval, actually.
Have a biscuit.
Yeah, he's going to have a runner here on Cars. This is the closest battle on track, so we may as well stay with it. Finn's going to be on the outside, and he's lifting. Oh no, Cars was the one who was lifting. That was confusing. So yeah, Cars lifts a lot, and lost a lot of time to Finn there. Probably sensible. So our leader then is Gabor, currently, but we know that Botsy's made a pit stop, so he's probably still in the lead of this race, followed by Altsu. Then it's Pedro. Pedro's doing a really good job here. Not someone I'm used to seeing at Fox events, but there we are. Then we've got Koivunen. Sorry?
Yeah, sorry, Botsy's 15 seconds behind Gabor.
Okay, so yeah, he's going to come...
That's split 2.
Gabor is going to come out way behind him. Yeah. Yeah, Botsy must have nailed his pit stop, because that's a very impressive gap. Way less than the pit stop time. This is quite a long pit lane here, especially with the wiggly pit entrance. You have to slow down a lot for. Who's this? This is okay. So we've got Jenar Unite, who's made his way back into the top 10, by the way. So he's currently in 10th. He's looking up the gearbox of Texas, TRR Texas, someone else who's joined a new team recently. Texas was a member of the LCSR team until very recently, when it looks like Rocky, Joe Lever 7, has recruited him to his team. So yeah, Unite's going to be wanting a look here into turn 1. Moves to the outside.
Nico lifted over the grid area, so he would take away a comeback chance from Texas before the first corner.
Work smarter, not harder, as they say. Yeah, it's a good technique to make your opponents
and doing
lose.
that didn't give Texas the chance to slipstream back up in the 500 meters before turn 1, and Unite has left him down the long straight.
Ayub is closing up to the back of Rick Cardle here, 7th and 8th. Sorry, 6th and 7th. So Ayub is in 7th, looking up the gearbox of Rick Cardle. Won't be close enough to make a move here, but I reckon he's going to have... Ooh, Rick going quite sideways there. He's probably going to have the draft on the oval if he can make a nice arena. Stay on board. Rick's really getting the arse on that FOX out there. He's all over the shop, so I think Ayub is just about in draft range. He's not going to be close enough to make a move into the chicane, but we'll see how close he does get, and then see whether he might be making a move into turn 1.
I'm expecting when Gabor pits, he'll come out somewhere right around Kamikaze, or if he has a really good stop, he'll come up in between, or right around Cardal and Ayub. He's about 20 seconds ahead of Cardal and Ayub as...
Whoa, Ayub got a really nice exit there. Koivunen into the pits from the 4th currently, so yeah. Ayub's going to have a run on Nico here. It's going to get close on the next lap because Nico had a terrible exit out of the hairpin. Sorry, not Nico, I mean Rick Cardle. Don't know why I thought about mentioning Unite there, but Ayub not quite close enough, so he's going to want to think smart and stay out of the slipstream a bit. Gets a bit sideways through turn 1.
You're probably thinking of Unite because he's doing the burn from the stern.
Maybe. So Botsy reclaims another position. Obviously he's out of sync currently because he's the only one of the top 6 or 7 who've made a pit stop, so he's currently in 4th. So he's just waiting for Pedro, Altsu and Gabor ahead of him to make their pit stops. But yeah, currently leading this race is Gabor. 5 laps to go, 4 after this one. So he's only got another 3 opportunities to pass the pit lane before he has to pit before risking a disqualification. Cannot pit on the last lap.
Altsu, what have you done, lad?
Are his tyres bad?
Left front damper is halved. I wonder if he had just some encounters with the sleeping policeman. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. He must have smashed one.
His left rear damper is not even much better. He has to have hit something in a gnarly sort of way, whether it's a stack of tires.
Must have happened when he dropped down the place behind Gabor, because you know he was in 2nd. Who's that going slow? Is that that'll be
that's a lap
Ritsu.
car. That's a lap car yielding
to traffic, very sensibly keeping out the way. That's very nice driving. Gabor passes the pit lane, so he's not pitting this lap. He'll be leaving it till the last minute. There's no point him coming into the pits any earlier. He needs to make the most of his tyres while they've got some temperature still. Make the most of the low fuel. Stay out with the clean air. Getting as many good laps as he can to try and just get a little bit closer to Botsy, but it's not going to happen. Botsy's just passing start finish now. He's really gaining on everyone again. So if Botsy can keep this clean, the race is his. Gabor similarly. Could become close between Altsu and Koivunen, but we'll see how that goes.
FFM Kamikaze is 25.5 seconds behind Gabor. And Koivunen is 33 seconds behind Gabor. And pit stop, a touch and go costs you usually around 20 to 25 seconds here.
Yeah, it's a long old pit lane.
If you stop at one of the pit stalls towards the end of the pit lane, you can sometimes, if you have the last one at the end of pit lane, you can sometimes just hit the gas and forget about it and still be under 80 when you hit the pit speed end line.
Yeah, it's normally a good idea to grab the first pit box though. The one as you join here. Can be quite a lot of difference between grabbing one further down. That was Engatini that just pitted. So everybody except Gabor, Altsu, Pedro, Kamikas, Texas, Brian and Vesa actually. Vesa has not pitted, so yeah, those drivers I just mentioned have not made their pit stop yet. From that angle, you can see that Teo Engatini has got a heck of a crumpled front wing. He's been in the walls with that car, so probably having some downforce issues. Gabor, our leader, crosses the line in race 1 to start his...
Top 3 still yet to pit.
Yep, top 3 currently still yet to pit. Obviously, Botsi is theoretically leading this race after the pit stop sells out. But yeah, Gabor, 3 laps to go with Altsu quite a way behind him now. So he's really either that damper damage is affecting Altsu's pace, or Gabor's just changed into another gear. Pedro's catching Altsu now at quite a rate of knots. So this is what I was saying before. Altsu has the pace over 1 lap, but he does always seem to get a little bit unlucky, or maybe his race pace is just hampered a bit by mistakes or getting caught out by other drivers. He does seem to be quite unlucky. The field is really spread out right now.
That damper damage on Altsu is really going to hurt him through that corner, through the right-hander on the outside oval turn 1. He actually has to lift just a touch. Just watched him through there, and he did lift just a touch. Everyone else that has a decent left side is flat. Not a single change in engine note as they go through there.
Yeah, the closest battle on track at the moment is between J.A. Catilla and Rain, 25th and 26th currently. We're watching Rain right now. Who's that catching? Is that Finn catching him? It is Finn catching him, so we've got a 3-car battle here, and wow, Rain is going to do one. Finn UK has just done one on Rain there. Came out of nowhere, seemingly, but Rain is probably going to have a run on him.
Gabor pits now.
Gabor in pit lane. Yep, here he comes. So let's see where he comes out against Botsi. Botsi's going to be miles ahead. Look at him. Botsi's just coming round the up to the chicane. So Gabor has been overtaken by Altsu now, as we'd expect. Gabor misses his pit box, no?
No, he
sorry, he was just setting off. My mistake.
He's just taking a shortcut through the pit lane, so Botsi's going to overtake him.
Just about
now, just there.
Now. Oh wow, that's really closed up. My goodness me. How has that closed up so much?
Yep. Ayub also pitting now.
So Gabor's had a hell of a couple of laps there, while Botsi's been out behind them. Gabor's within touching distance here. 2 laps to go. I mean, probably not going to make a move, but that's impressive. He must have had a really good stint there. He's a lot closer to Botsi.
Best lap for Gabor is a 2:15.48. Best lap for Botsi is a 2:15.7.
Wow, so yeah,
so if Gabor was doing
pace.
the Schumi/Hamilton sort of strat.
I mean, there's 2 laps to go. It's not likely he's going to close the gap, but that's a really good effort. Like, he was so far behind when Botsi pitted.
There's about 2 seconds between them right now, so I don't think it's going to pay off.
I mean, after 50 minutes of racing, a 2-second gap is nothing to be ashamed of. That's a really nice...
No, not at all.
I mean, Botsi is Gabor has come on such a lot since I've been seeing him racing. Like, I remember him being not at the pointy end, but now he's battling with Botsy for the win in a Fox race. I mean, Botsy is an absolute alien in these cars, so fair play to Gabor for getting even close to Botsy in this car. That's a really good effort. I don't want to jinx it, but there's 2 laps to go. Be a good result for Gabor. Really nice. Just waiting now for Altsu and Pedro to pit. Let's see if Altsu comes in. He has to this lap.
He's angling in, yes.
He's coming into pits.
Pedro also does.
Altsu cuts the grass, yeah, massively, as expected. Slows it down. Nice on the limiter. Picks one of the earlier pit boxes. Who's that following him in? Is that Pedro? Pedro follows him in, yeah. So let's see where Botsy flies past. Botsy and Gabor are miles past.
Kamikaze also in the pit. I wonder, Nico's going to come to is in 7th.
Nico's been up and down this grid
He's been all over.
Yeah.
He's going to be close to a top 5 because he's just passed Kamikaze for 6th.
Yeah, that's 6th.
And Koivunen is
just ahead of him. Yeah, so let's stick with this.
On the last lap. So he's got 3 miles to try and get a top 5.
It's going to be tough, it's going to be tough. That's a big gap to close. Koivunen has not been slow. I mean, Unite has been up and down. Like, he was outside the top 10 at one point after his incident early on, so to get back inside the top 6 is quite impressive. Not something that should be surprising. Nico is a fast guy, handy in the Fox, but he did throw it away on his own, if I remember.
Yeah.
Yep, last lap then. Botsy leads from Gabor. Then we've got Altsu and Pedro. P. Koivunen. Genai Unite in 6th. Code in 7th. Rick Cardle right behind him in 8th. Then it's Christian behind him in 9th. Then it's Ayub a bit further back. So yeah, there's still a close-ish group with Rick, Christian and Ayub in it. I don't think anyone's going to be making a move on the last lap. I think the closest inside the top 10 is between Rick and Christian, but yeah, there's nowhere near, unless one of them makes a mistake, there's no way there's going to be a move. Yeah.
Botsy takes the short way around the chicane. And heading up to the final hairpin now. And we'll face the checkered flag as he comes over the crest.
Look how close Gabor is now. Look at that. That is actually... I feel quite bad for Gabor. He's put on a hell of a performance.
He was a half second faster through the first 2 sectors.
But yeah, Botsy must just be managing, because that's crazy. Well done, Botsy. Well deserved. Led from start to finish, pretty much, besides deciding to pit early. Yeah, Gabor, 2nd. Great effort from him. Altsu comes across the line in 3rd, followed by Pedro. Then it's P. Koivunen from WCL, who takes the checkered flag. Now, then it's Nico. Race that could have been for Nico. He was up and down outside the top 10, then back in it, so who knows where he would have finished if he'd have kept it clean. Then it's Code, followed really closely by Rick Cardle and Christian.
Ooh, Beatar Brian just got the chicane all wrong on the last lap.
As Ayub celebrates across
the side on it.
Oh wow, yeah, that is a lot of damage on Brian's car there. Did he just get overtaken by that Jaroslav Donalek?
Yeah, he just got passed by Jaroslav. Yeah, Brian just got
that's
the
a
chicane
messed up
all
car.
wrong and pancaked it against the outside wall, and it tipped up on 2 wheels, giving that rear wing a bit of a makeover.
He's all over the place. Look at this. That is not a Fox anymore. That is a... Well, I won't say it because it's rude, but yeah, it rhymes. That is a messed up car. Do you want to run us down the order as they're finishing?
Yep, we do have a 30-second time penalty for Mega for failing to pit in time. He pitted too late.
Yeah, so he's coming across the line now, so he's going to gift some positions to people.
He's down
19th.
20th, so...
Yep.
So yeah, he'll probably lose 2 or 3 positions. Here, I believe the last car to I'll go through the positions here real quick after the last car, which I believe is Rain. Who's coming out of the final corner now.
Got red bottoms, who will definitely gain a position from Mega. Then it's Finn UK, who will also. J.A. Catilla will too. Rain will. Yeah. I think Mega's going to end up being quite low down. He won't be behind Cars and Rocket, because Cars and Rocket are still... Sorry, yeah. Cars has already finished, sorry. So yeah, you can read down the list.
So we have our final positions. If I may have the floor. So Botsy wins in fantastic fashion over Gabor by 0.67 of a second, 2/3 of a second. Gabor does take credit for fast lap with a 2:15.48. Altu rounds out the podium, 2:15.62 his best lap, 5 seconds adrift of Botsy. Pedro and Koivunen finish out the top 5. Top 5 separated by 18 seconds after 50 minutes, 24 seconds of Racing Unite. Doing a good burn from the back, grind from behind after some first lap dramas. 20 seconds adrift. Code 7th, Carl 8th, Christian 9th. Top 10 is rounded out by Ayub. Top 10 separated by 37.5 seconds. FFM Payson and FFM Kamikaze 11th and 12th. Pantheo 13th. TRR Texas 14th. Michael is 15th. Bitar Eva in 16th. Yaroslav Donelik in 17th. Brian 18th after that last lap smash of the concrete. Ingatini in 19th. FFM Eagle takes the top 20. Simon 21st. Vesa in 22nd. Red Bottoms 23rd. Finn UK with 2 pit stops in 24th. Katia in 25th. Rain 26th. And Mega, last car on the lead lap with that 30-second penalty, taken down to 27th. Everyone else a lap down, and unfortunately, I did not screenshot the results, and they're gone.
That's a shame. Well, we are gridding, and yeah, we have a reverse.
Oh, no, it's wrong way. Etienne is...
Oh, no, he's gone the wrong way, so yeah, we...
I believe somebody hit ready before.
Ready. Yeah, so Rubsty's everyone's joining. So yeah, it looks like the track is going to be reversed. It has been reversed, so we are having a reverse grid race here. This is not reverse grid, sorry, reverse. We'll have a 15-minute qualifying session now.
Well,
we're down a few
that's
drivers.
That's going to jumble the grid.
Yeah, we're down a few drivers. This is going to be going on quite late, guys. So stick with us. We have a qualifying session pretty quick here, so yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to get anyone in for an interview, which is a shame. But yeah, it's open qualifying for 15 minutes, so let's head back to the track. Let's see who's
after an hour. The normal direction on this track, the reverse direction, we might as well have gotten in the plane and gone to Aston.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting
at this point. The first 10 minutes of this session is going to be basically just a free practice. You're going to see a mad rush in the last 5 minutes to set good lap times. Rain just asked to make this race shorter. He's going to want some sleep tonight, I think. I think you're going to see everyone just try and get a banker lap in first, just to get a grid spot. And then they're going to work on improving. A lot of these drivers are good, and they can switch on a dime. But some of the back markers, they're going to struggle this one.
I am struggling to hide chat messages with TV director running here, so just bear with me.
Ayub gave himself a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
I'm going to struggle to hide chat here, unfortunately. A lot of drivers are leaving, which is not really that unexpected, because yeah, it's already been well over an hour and a half. The event normally only goes on for about an hour and a half, and we're still here for another at least an hour. So yeah, reverse track. This is an interesting idea that they're doing here. So they've just done well over an hour of the regular config, and they're going to have to throw all that out the window.
Rain has just, I think, has started a discussion in the driver's voice chat about shortening the race. Unfortunately, I'm not hearing what Fraz is saying.
Interesting.
But I wonder if just because I'm doing this with you on my phone, on Discord on my phone, I'm wondering if I could join their channel on my laptop.
You won't be able to. Because Discord only has one account, yes. Unfortunately. Oh wow, Michael has done 0 practice, he's just set an hour PB.
Oh, lovely. That's his outlap.
Yep, that is his outlap. It's his first ever online lap on this track, so that is good preparation for race 2. We can consider this a fun race.
In this car.
True, yes. Yeah. Very true. We'll see how many other drivers fit into that category as they cross start finish. I really wish I could mute chat right now. Yeah, it doesn't look like.
Try Shift F.
Shift F won't help me. For some reason.
Or try Shift minus.
That's what I'm doing, but TV Director is blocking that keystroke, unfortunately, for some reason. Without restarting it, if I restart it, I lose onboards. So.
That was the struggle.
Yeah. I will very quickly restart the for speed and restart the TV Director while these guys are doing qualifying, since this is a less crucial time of the race.
Well, you still got half a minute before the first qualifying laps are completed anyway.
Exactly, so yeah.
Pantheo's just coming out of what was turn 3, and now running all the way up the hill and round the corner. Pantheo is the first car that will set a qualifying time. .2:17.06. Pantheo Gabor sets a blister of a 2:15.78.
I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll leave the results screen on the screen now, so we can do qualifying for this race with names above the cars, an actual finishing order. That'd be nice for a change, won't it? So yeah, Gabor on pole currently, and very impressively not pretty much about the same pole time as the other way around. So probably half a second in it. Wonder if the pole time for the first race is going to be faster or slower than this race. I don't know actually off the top of my head which track is faster. Which direction, sorry, is faster. There's one way to find out, and that's to check the world records. Which I can do.
Race 1 winner Botsy's coming up the last straightaway from the anti-penultimate corner. We'll see where he goes. He had pole race 1. Botsy puts it a little wide coming out of the final corner. But across the line now, Botsy goes 4th fastest with a 2:16.49.
So yeah, Gabor, really impressive actually. That is really impressive. He's just been able to switch it on immediately and get into the 15s. The only driver so far to get into the 15s on this reverse config. I wonder if he has done practice, and his ability to switch there is really, really impressive. Botsy's doing another lap, by the way. It's possible he's just testing his race set. It's possible that Botsy is not doing a qualifying run.
That's entirely possible. Some people may choose to take... That's a good 3 or 4 laps of practice that you otherwise may not have had.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Even if you've done a day's worth of practice before today, it's good to do it as a mini stint just to get yourself adjusted to it.
Yeah, indeed. I reckon that is what Botsy's doing. Let's quickly check his tyres, see what he's running. Oh, I can't see tyres, can I? Oh, it's going R2 slick front, R2 slick rear. Doesn't really give much away. Not sure what his qualifying set was using. It's possible his qualifying set was using R1s. But anyway, we can probably judge by his lap time when he comes round. That'll give us an idea of what setup he's using. His tyres look pretty cold, so let's assume this is a race set. Botsy is definitely doing race practice here. He might pit after this lap and throw in a couple of hot laps, who knows. Be good to see him get 2 poles from 2. Did he get pole last race?
Yes, I believe he did.
It's bad that I can't remember.
Let me check the message
like
I sent. I sent you a message in Discord mainly, so I didn't forget.
Yeah, you have reminded me just by saying that. Yes, he got pole in the.
Yeah, he had a 2:15.3
in the last race.
Botsy coming out of the final corner.
On the grass a little bit, lovely.
Did that last time too.
Let's see what he's going to do. Is he going to carry on and just get a few laps under his belt? Maybe he's going for the long game. Doesn't mind about his qualifying so much. He's gone pole. Even on a race set, he's gone pole. There's no stopping Botsy. Botsy is an alien. Botsy is an alien. Yeah. It's Gabor by 700ths over the line.
So Pete.
Hello.
What would you say if I said, why don't we take an onboard lap for a complete lap of someone so we can give our lovely viewers an explainer of the circuit?
Alright. Should I do the explaining? Because we're on board with Botsy
Or
currently.
do you want me to?
It's up to you if you can follow along.
Where's he at? Do we want to start at the beginning of someone's lap, or do we want to go...
It's up to you. Pick someone. I can go on board.
Let me see someone coming out of the final corner. How about let's do FFM Payson, because he's just ready to start a hot lap now.
Okie dokie, we're on board with Al Payson.
So...
Gabor's taken pole. Sorry to interrupt. Gabor's done a 15.3.
So that's going to be a good lap. That's going to be hard to beat.
Very.
So Payson now, down the front straight. Kyoto reverse is still the same characteristic, but reverse presents completely different challenges. This usually accelerate out. This rate you're slowing in. Problem, especially with pit stop sequence, qualifying. You've got cars coming out of pit lane on your right, and you can't see them blind crest. Makes the chicane a little easier to navigate in this one. You still try and take it full pelt, but you suffer hard if you fail, because the old wall is right there to greet you. The oval section is just a flat-out slog. Just go as fast as you can, get a good run on it, good slipstreaming. Take a really wide entry into the spoon curve. The Foxes can stay generally flat out, have to lift a little bit, maybe down a gear, double apex as Payson does, and good. You will generally maybe a slight tap of the brake going into that corner the other way around. It's a tighter corner this way around. Flat for Payson this time. Race, he may need to take it back off. The sweeps in this direction are downhill and off camber. You get help from the camber a little bit on the normal direction. But half of them on this one are way off camber. And you slow down instead of speed up. And oh, Payson's gone. He is spun. He's messed that one up.
He nearly got in the way of Gabor. Oh, look at how close Altsu is on the timesheet. Look how close he is to beating Gabor there. This has ended up being closer than the last qualifying. And this is the qualifying that no one did any practice for. 300ths. That's amazing.
Yes, sir. Altsu's on an outlap now.
3 minutes left to quali, so we'll just have enough time to cross the start-finish for another lap. Who are we going on board with now?
Gabor is about to start his final hot lap, so we can watch Gabor and then we'll come back to Altsu. Why don't you talk about Gabor and I'll watch Altsu?
Okie dokie then. So Gabor coming over the start-finish straight to try and improve slightly on his lap. He is on a qualifying setup. He's just doing one out lap and one hot lap, opting to not do a longer run in this kind of qualifying practice session, if you like. Sweet as you like round the, I guess this is turn 2. Now he's going to want to get a nice straight line through the chicane onto the oval. He doesn't want to drop any wheels because he's going to get sent into the wall, as Deco mentioned. Nice shallow line into it. Nice line onto the oval, nice and smooth, cutting the sleeping policeman. Touching on 225 kilometers an hour on the oval before throwing it into the Spoon Arena corner. Not as wide as Payson was, taking a much shallower line in. That'll make him wash out a little bit on exit. I saw a low of 187 kilometers an hour there, so losing flat out, but losing well over 50 k's. As he's entering the sweeps in the reverse direction. He's catching someone here. Is that Botev? Hopefully Botev doesn't get in his way on the end of this lap. Grips up on the curbs a little bit to pull him round. He's going to be down a gear here. Hopefully doesn't drop it like Payson did. No. Botev spectates ahead, so that's nice for Gabor. He won't be distracted. Oh, Gabor having to feather the throttle a bit there to get the car turned in. He was a little bit early on turning. Now we're coming up to the final chicane. Sorry.
Altitude through the arena section. 41.5 first split for Altitude, and Altitude's abandoned the lap. Altitude has abandoned the lap.
Gabor's onto the grass out of the last corner. Down a gear. Oh, I'm not sure whether that's going to be any good for him. Let's see what he manages. See if he manages to pull out a little bit of a gap on himself. He does not, but wow, he was close. He was only 11 hundredths off. That's impressive. Wow, Gabor is quite some driver in this car, isn't he? So yeah, 40 seconds left.
Flying lap.
All right, we'll go to Botsy.
But he's going to have a slower car on his inside that yields just a bit later than I would have.
I was quite late.
Preferred.
Yeah. Botsy with a really nice. Oh, this is a nice.
28.8.
Yeah. This is quick.
Is he? Botsy did that fast lap late in the last qualifying. 15 seconds from the checkers on the section.
Oh, massive lock into there. Holy crap. That was a lot of lock he had on there.
Powering up the hill. Got to get a good run into the chicane. Try and straighten this up as much as you can, Botsy.
Oh, he's going to run on the grass.
It's the pivot.
Yeah.
It's the grass again.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
What's it going to be? Is he going to dethrone Gabor? Oh, he's run out of fuel.
Oh, he's
run out of fuel.
Oh, no, just missed it. Just 200 meters short. I believe the Italians call it mancanza di benzina.
I hope you're right, because you might have just sworn at someone. I cannot verify.
The late Clive James used that in a 1982 Formula One review clip.
Showing your age a bit there, mate.
I was born after 1982, but
okay.
I found those
Very
and
good.
I watched them over and over again.
Fair enough. Wow, that was interesting. People are still on a lap. It looks like Sermi's still on a lap. Yeah, he's still getting split times registered, so he's a little bit down on what Botsy was on, but let's see where he is currently. He's 7th. He can definitely improve on this lap if he finishes it with that split.
Yep.
Only 4/10 off what Botsy was doing, and Botsy ran out of fuel 200 metres before the line and set a 15.6. So if Sermi can hook this up, he should be on his way into the top 5 maybe.
Just find Sermi is Jay Katia on a timed lap.
Once all the timed cars have gone through, I'll go for a quick break and set up TV Director ready for the start.
Yep, FFM Eagle is the last car on a timed lap.
Okay, Sermi comes across the line, and he does improve. 4th, 15.93, very good. Wow.
FM Eagle currently 29th with a 2:21.77.
The restart timer has started. 500 seconds this time, so 10 minutes-ish. It's only fair to give people a break. It was quite quickly into qualifying for this, so nice to give them a bit of a break before the start. Eagle has to move past Rain. I wonder if Rain ran out of fuel. No, Rain's just cruising. So
Eagle did not improve his time. Do you want me to go through the results while you set your TV director up?
Yes, please.
Would that make your life a lot more considerate? Oh, we will tend to that. Gabor pole 2:15.31. Altu and Botsy from City is second and third, 2:15.34 and 2:15.46, respectively. FFM Sermian and Kamikaze with the two complete the top five, 2:15.93 and 2:16.08 for them. Pedro takes himself sixth place on a 16:12. Unite in seventh with a 16:14. Botev, Christian, and young Tommy B rounding out the top 10. 11th is Sick, Code in 12th, Pantheon 13th, Koivunen in 14th, Race Green's Mandula in 15th, Simon 16th, Rubsty in 17th, FFM Fin UK in 18th, 19th is Mega, 20th Payson, Jay Katia in 21st, Michael in 22nd, Yaroslav Donelik in 23rd, Atyan in 24th, Ayub 25th, Bali 26th, Karzan in 27th, Rocket 28th, Eagle 29th, 30th Rain, 31st Karzi, and Ngatini in 32nd. 2:43.55 for Ngatini. Wonder if he was just doing some practice to get used to the circuit. He is 22 seconds off of the penultimate racer. The spread from first to 31st, 2:15.31 to 2:21.88. Race lap counter still set to 22 laps.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like we're having a reduced length race, so I may go and top up my drink in this short break because I feel like my voice is going to need it by the end of this. So yeah.
I suggest you viewers take a moment to do that.
Yeah, please do that.
The snacks bucket.
Refill it, go
get a coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
With a chalice of spirit, bourbon, perhaps.
It's nice to see that 30 people have stuck around, though, for sure. 30 people, not bad, considering this event doesn't normally go on this long. So yeah, I'm going to take a quick break. Welcome back to those of you who have stuck around to watch the 500th race of Fox Fridays in LFS. Just under 10 years worth of racing, 502 weeks with 500 races, so quite an impressive history for this series, only missing 2 races out of those 502 weeks. One of the longest running series in LFS's history. Every week 40 car grids, very, very popular. We're about to go green for the second time tonight. So here we go then. Take us away, Deco.
Well, why would you tell me to take you? I have a shift view camera looking at the first corner. I can't even see the grid, man.
Okie dokie then, I will take it away. On pole.
I'll take it away at the crest of the hill.
Okay, I'll hand over to you at the crest. We've got Gabor on pole. Then it's Altsu in second. Botsy not able to take pole in both races. 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights. And it's green. Good start by Gabor. Nose to tail. It's Altsu and Botsy. They haven't had a practice start in this direction, so it's going to be interesting into the chicane. I wonder if
it's going to
be
all action.
Restart.
Gabor has the lead coming into the hairpin. Everyone clean so far, I think. Well, we have a bit of a coming together at the back. Typical Monaco style. One car ends off in tears. That is Mega. So he is last. But Gabor leads from Altsu and Botsy. Botsy clangs the wall, so that's going to let Surmi come along the outside into oval turn 1. And Kamikaze 5th for now, but Pedro will take 5th, and we'll have the inside, it looks like, for the spoon curve. Surmi and Botsy also side by side. Oh, Surmilian almost resting into Botsy's right front. Everyone single file as they come out of the arena corner. And everyone's still a much cleaner start than race 1 today. MandulAA slow out of the arena section, but Gabor leads through that corner with about a 2-second advantage over Altsu. Surmian third. Pedro and Kamikaze, or Botsy side by side, excuse me. Pedro on the inside of Botsy, but will be stuck around the outside, but powers around the outside. And has the inside and the advantage over Botsy into the anti-penultimate corner. Botsy tapping the back of Pedro just a little bit and getting a twitch on that. We'll let Kamikaze into the slipstream, and we'll try to come around the outside, long way around Botsy, but cannot because Botsy slipstreams up on Pedro, and we'll head on the inside into the final set of corners here as they come to the end of the first of 22 laps of Kyoto Grand Prix Long Reverse.
Kamikaze is on the inside here of Pedro. Across start finish. Makes the move stick.
Pedro tucks right back in though for a slipstream. Will he make a kamikaze move on Kamikaze into turn 1? No, he does not.
I see what you did there. I liked it.
Har 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 indeed, right? So lap 1, complete. Gabor leads from Altsu, Surmian, Botsy, Kamikaze, Pedro, Botev, Unite, Co.
Oh, we seem to have lost Deco there. He was cut out. Hopefully his Wi-Fi will recover and he'll rejoin. But yeah, not fantastic to lose Deco for a little bit. We're on board with Kamikaze here. And we've got Botev all over the back of Pedro around the spoon corner. Decides better of it. Backs off. Very wise. So yeah, out front, leading this race. Couldn't quite manage the win in the first race, but he's looking commanding here. Gabor pulling out a second lead over Altsu, who is followed closely by Sermalan, who has managed to keep his nose a lot cleaner this race than he managed in the previous one. Dropped down the order quite significantly to the point where he actually spectated out of the last race. He sits in third. Botsy has improved. He's got back past Kamikaze. currently on the last lap. He's in 4th. He's going to want to get up to the pointy end of this race to make it 2 from 2. Then we've got Kamikaze, as I mentioned. He's being tailed by Pedro. Then it's MButcher, and he's followed by Unite and Code. And then the top 10 is rounded out by Young Tommy B of Teo. We've got a Teo trio here, as you can see. We've got Young Tommy B, followed by Christian and Pantheo in 12th. Then it's Simon. Then a small gap to FFM Finn, who is being chased very hard by Sick, who drives off onto the grass. He needs to keep it clean. Yeah, he's been overtaken by Rubsty. Then we've got Jaroslav Donalek, who seems to be using the same skin as Gabor. I wonder if they're teammates. Can't tell from the name. 3 wide here between Atian, Rubsty and Donalek.
Forgive my sudden absence, Mr. Pete.
No worries.
Work called. Work beckoned.
Ah, no problem. Jaroslav in the middle there. Sick behind. Then it's Ayub a little further down the road in 19th. And it's Atian in 20th, followed by Michael. And then there's a bit of a gap back to Kabazon and Rocket, Engatini, Eagle, P. Koivunen, Ridzu, Rain, Cars, then it's Bali, and J.A. Catilla, who has made his first pit stop. He must have got some damage because he's only just exiting the pit lane now, so he is
well, he also had a drive-through.
Ah, okay, so it might just be his drive-through.
Yeah, he just finished his drive-through.
But he made a pit stop. So does he not still have the drive-through?
No, he and I think Bali pitted on the first lap.
Okay, but then he got a drive-through. Right, I see.
They both got a drive-through.
Yeah. Who was the other driver you mentioned, as well as Catilla?
I think it was Bali. I don't remember.
Okay, well, Bali hasn't made a pit stop, so.
No, Unite, and Botsy, and we now have a grand crash in the end of the sweeps. Young Tommy B is off. Nico and Kim
spectates.
had content, and Marak is spinning. I'm not sure if that's in sympathy or if he's recovering. Ayub also is off in there. Somebody hit the inside.
Yeah, young Tommy B's off in the gravel.
Tires on the inside.
Ah, shame I missed that. Too busy looking at the list of people who are pitting, or had pitted, unfortunately. So yeah, Gabor has made a heck of a gap over Altsu already here.
There was a coming together, I believe, in the right-hander in the sweeps. I had just tabbed to it right as it happened.
That's unfortunate. Well, Sermilan and Botsy right together. So Unite, yet again, having an eventful race, but unfortunately won't finish this one. We've already lost 4 drivers and it's only been 3 laps. Well, we're at the start of the 3rd lap now, actually.
Botev, I think, was also involved in that. He's spectated. Unite has also spectated and retired from this race. So we are down to 25 cars.
Botsy's made an optimistic lunge up the inside of Sermi. It's going to stick. Sermi's not going to have a chance to respond to that, I don't think, unless he decides to send one up the inside. Oh, no, he's going around the outside. Oh no, he's backed off completely into Spoon.
Nico is chatting in the server, taking fault for that schmozzle in the sweeps.
Schmozzle.
David Hobbs used to do commentary for the F1 races here, stateside, and I've developed some of his vocabulary he used in races.
Schmozzle sounds like a very British word.
Yes, he. And so some of Hobbs's commentary was brilliant. The bits of marbles and rolled up rubber that's off the racing line. The term he used for that was clag.
Wow. Okay.
coming togethers like that, he would call either it'd be Schmozzle or Grand Carambolage. I tell you, it made watching F1 at 7 in the morning every 2 weeks a lot more tolerable. You lucky Brits get to have most of your F1 races at lunchtime.
Who's that coming into the pit lane? It's Kamikas making his pit on down pit road.
This pit lane is the pit lane this way is essentially go as fast as you can and brake as hard as you can in a straight line to enter, and try not to hit any walls on pit exit.
Yeah.
Or do like Kamikaze just did and get a bit of a slide and have to back out of it coming out. And then try and hug as far to the right as you can just as you come out, and hopefully there's not someone coming around the crest at the pit exit to punch you off or trip them up.
Kamikaze rejoins in 20th, ahead of all the other drivers who've made pit stops. He comes out ahead of Barley, who has yet to make a pit stop. Though you did say he had a drive-through, right? So he might have just served his drive-through.
I can't remember who had the drive-through. I'm wondering if they might have.
Well, Godzilla definitely had one of them. So, yeah. Kabor has opened up a significant lead over Altsu. Botsy's passed Surmalan during all that. So, Botsy is up to third, and he's chasing down Altsu. He's got a bit between his teeth at the moment. So, yep, Surmalan off of the podium right now. Pedro a little way behind. And then there's a bit of a gap back to Teo Christian. There was a group of 3 Teo drivers here, so we've lost one of them. Must have been caught up in the Unite incident when Nico had his incident, because it's only Christian and Pantheo left in the top 10. We have to go all the way back to yeah, I mean, there's only, by the looks of it, 2 Teo drivers in this race. Oh, there are 3. Cars is a fair way down at the back, but yeah.
Yeah, Karzi's down the back. He had a bit of a spin a couple of laps ago.
Oh, there's a spin. Speaking of spins, that'll be Finn UK having a bit of a trip onto the grass out of the last corner and loses a couple of positions. He's down to 11th now. He's going to get overtaken by Sick. Across the line, there we go. Finn down to 12th.
Do you remember, Pete, how last race I mentioned that, oh, we have a car beached?
Whereabouts?
Cabby's on.
Down at turn 3 of the reverse out. Yeah, he's wiggling his wheels to try and get out, using the old wheel side to side to gain a bit of grip at the front. Yeah, he's absolutely beached there. That's going to be race over for Cabazon. Unfortunately, he's down in 22nd and he'll be out of the race.
If this were an NDR race, we'd be sending an RB4 his way to give him a little tap.
Give him a little push so he doesn't lose his race, yeah. Would you throw a full course yellow for that? Probably.
We would generally try to avoid it. It would have been a judgment of, could we have a gap in the cars to do it safely? And in this race with such long lap and the big gaps, we'd scramble a rescue car race direction to get there. Yeah, it might take them 3 minutes to get there, but that's part of the business. We'd always stack rescue car halfway around the circuit if we had the staff to do it. But we'd push him out and let him continue on and send the rescue car back to its house. That would be one that would be close. It's not such a position that it's unsafe, because we could push him to the outside of the corner so he can merge in a little better. We as administrators would also throw spoken yellow flags to give drivers a little more heads up. We'd say gravel recovery happening at turn, whatever turn it was. But for one like that, that probably would not have been a safety car.
Well, Cabazon is still trying to make his way out of the gravel. I've been on board with Botsy for a bit. watching him, seeing his view of Altsu. See if he manages to close up a little bit into the braking zone. Altsu goes a bit wide, has to be said. So
Botsy
yeah,
about a third of a second faster last lap.
Yeah, he is catching, definitely, so we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully we don't miss the overtake, if there is one, because we already missed the one on Soeren. No excuse really, since there's not much going on. We do have a group of cars that are a bit closer behind. This is FFM Payson, who's about to make a move on Pantheo. Whoa, oof, that's close. Yeah, so Pantheo has to yield there to Payson. As they come into the oval. Oh, Pantheo in the draft. That was inevitable. Smashes the ball. Do you want to check the damage on Pantheo there? See if you got any suspension damage from that. He might have got away with it.
Only a little bit. Very minor.
Well, every little helps through the sweeps, as we know. So having a bent arm around that section is not helpful. So yeah, he loses out of position to Payson there. See how Cabazon's getting on. Well, he's moved, but he's giving up. He needs to move the front wheels a lot faster than that if he wants to get out. He needs to switch to mouse and start generating some RSI in his wrist. Yeah.
Yes.
It really is difficult to get the Fox out, but you can do it.
I will, as gravel traps go in LFS, this is one of the better ones at actually trapping cars.
It's because they're all they all kind of fall away, so it's kind of uphill normally to get back to the track. So,
have I described to you the big gravel trap at Turn 4 at Mid-Ohio?
I don't think so.
But you know, so I've told you I flagged there. If you're at Station 4 at Mid-Ohio, which is driver's right going into Turn 4, you can't see past the left edge of the track because the earth falls off so far. The bottom of the gravel trap is probably 2 stories lower than the top of the track. It's a big dip. So the next corner, Station 5, has to help Station 4 get call. Yeah, Mid-Ohio, and that big gravel trap, I don't know if you've heard them ever call it on like the IMSA or IndyCar broadcast from there. We call it China Beach.
Why is it called China Beach, I ask?
I will have to get back to you on that. If I've heard it, it's been so long ago I've forgotten. It's massive.
Right, okay, China is large, yeah.
1998. Look up the 1998 kart race from there, and it'll help you if you just look 1998 kart Mid-Ohio, Michael Andretti. I don't know if you remember this one, Pete, if you watched it, but...
If it was American, and before the 2000s, definitely not.
Okay. Michael Andretti had a insane shunt. He tripped over a lapped car going into Turn 4, hit the wall driver's right going into Turn 4, and then flew for about a few hundred yards, tumbling through the air before he landed.
Wow. Sounds
upside
scary.
down in the beach.
Right.
I believe in Aston, at one of the sports car races there some years ago, flew off the track, and his airborne was longer than the Wright brothers' first flight.
Yikes.
So,
is that true? Was it actually longer?
I believe so, yes.
Wow. We're currently watching a rear view camera from onboard Altsu here of Botsy gaining very slowly. Been on board now for a lap on the reverse cam. Botsy hasn't made any real gains, so yeah. Interesting.
Botsy just a little slower that last lap.
Yeah, he lost a lot of time in the what would be turn 3 of the other layout, the other way around. The 90 left on this track, just as you come onto the straight before the fires. Botsy gets all sorts of out of shape, but I guess he's using the slide to get a better drive into the hairpin. Yeah, you can't really split those two at the moment. They're kind of doing similar lap times throughout the race. Gabor, meanwhile, he's absolutely disappeared. Absolutely disappeared.
We'll call turn 3 last race turn 14 here. They just did a rough count, and if I counted right, it's about turn 14 or 15 area.
Okay, if I had my print off, I would have been able to tell you, but yeah, I haven't got my print off. There's someone off. I can hear wheels spinning. Who's that? That is Ridzu. He is having a bad time. He has got a very broken front right wheel. He is crabbing. So he's got a long journey back to the pit lane if he wants to finish. His front wing's dragging.
Front wing dragging, left front damper is also seen better days.
He's going to want to move over to the right-hand side of the track to let people through. Oh, he's struggling. He's struggling to turn that thing, yeah. He's going to be a problem during the sweepers. So we'll keep an eye on this, I think. Let's keep an eye on these guys that are just about to catch up to him.
I wonder if he had to have hit the wall coming out of the chicane onto the oval.
Yeah, Ridzu very sensibly moves over to let them all through. Oof. Yeah, that wasn't that sensible.
Be careful you don't high center. He could have high centered that car and been stuck for days on that curb.
Yeah, he'll make it back to pits, but he's just going to have to be very careful to let people through at the right places. So yeah, let's run down the order real quick. We've got Kapoor out in front, as we know. And there's a huge gap, relatively, back to Altsu and Botsi compared to last race. Botsi, again, not really making any ground this lap. Yeah, still Altsu keeps him at bay. Then it's a small gap back to Sermi. Pedro, and Christian is keeping with him. Then there's a big old gap, really big gap back to Payson and Pantheo. Say that really quickly, that's really difficult. 6 sticking with them. Oh, who's that? That's some drifting going on from Payson. Don't know if it was enough to slow him down so that... Oh yeah, Pantheo's going to have a go, probably. No, not quite. Not quite. Not quite close enough to do anything about that. Sadly, only 23 drivers left in this race, so we've lost nearly a third of the grid since the beginning.
It is a late night now for those on the continent.
Pushing 11 o'clock here. So for most of these drivers, it will be midnight, or past midnight already. It will already be Saturday. So yeah, not used to this long on a Fox Friday night, but it's the 500th, so I nearly messed it up there. Did you hear? It's the 500th.
Yeah. You're getting better. I think you'll be fine at it by the time this race ends.
There's a move happening, and it is
Pantheo gets up the inside
Payson.
Of Payson, but Payson will tuck back in and I predict Payson might take a run at Pantheo into the arena section. Pantheo sticks it around the outside, sees if he can power around and keep some momentum on that run around the outside, and he does. That is fantastic.
See if he has another go around that corner in the other direction. Oh, he doesn't manage. He should have dropped off a bit, yeah.
Yeah, he was too close. Look at, he had to lift off and had just god-awful understeer through that corner.
Yeah, that was a bit of an error.
Payson may try to...
Oh, Pantheo's wide.
Takes a little wide. Late apex, though. That
but he's caught Payson out because he's dropped him back into the aerodrop, so he's made more of a gap for himself. Cheeky. Unintentional, but cheeky. Payson gets a terrible exit compared to Pantheo. There's a back marker. It's all going off.
The slipstream on this car is fairly big. So even though he might look just too far, he'll still have a whiff. So he'll stay within shouting distance, and if he can have a good run through this last corner,
which he does.
He does not.
Oh, someone's spinning behind. That's a back marker.
And
as Pantheo pits.
Oh, Pantheo pits.
Yeah, he's in the pit lane. Probably a good idea. Yeah, we're about half distance.
If this is the halfway lap, the end of this lap, we'll have half the race done.
I wonder if Botsi's close enough to get a bit of draft effect here. No, not quite.
It's a lapped car that Botsi's just behind. Botsi just shy of 5 seconds off of Gabor.
That back marker being Ridzu, lets them through very nicely. He's got a new car now, Ridzu, I think, has he? Yes, he does.
So
yes. Botsi's got past Altsu. We missed it. We missed it. There's someone off in the gravel trap at turn 2. Who's that? It's Eagle. I can't believe we missed it. We are rubbish, aren't we?
It's probably when we were watching
Al and,
Right Zoo.
and yeah, maybe. Oh goodness. As Cabazon lets Kamikaze through there. Kamikaze has also made a pit stop. Sick is being chased by Payson now.
Botsy is trying his level best to at least match pace from Gabor. Clear track for the leaders at the moment. No lappery or other rubbishy things at the moment, so just themselves and their own mistakes.
I'm on board with Sick at the moment.
Gabor pits, by the way.
Okay, interesting. Again, taking it early. Oh no, hang on. It was Botsy that pitted early last race, so Gabor going for the opposite strategy this race. Rather than pitting on the last lap, he's pitted halfway. Possible... as Payson goes into the pits ahead of Sick. Ahead of Sick.
And Finn UK also in the pits, so 2 FMers together, and also Yaroslav in the pits.
Okay, we're down to 21 drivers, so we've lost another 2 drivers. I'm guessing one of those was Cabazon. Yeah, Cabazon has given up trying to escape the gravel trap at turn 14, or turn 3, depending on which way we're counting.
Oh no, Cabazon is still on the track.
Cabazon is still on track, you are right.
He's had some dramas. He's spun in the sweeps.
It looks like an Indy car.
A badly broken Indy car, mind you.
The front end. Oh. Because you can't see the rear wing. What has he done? How has he managed that? I mean, that is really broken.
Did he roll somewhere? I wonder.
I think he's gone into a wall sideways.
Look at the windscreen.
Yeah, he's been in a wall sideways.
He's visited the top of his car. Has visited something that it should not have.
I mean, yeah, his head is now higher than the roll hoop, the camera hoop. So, and he's okay. Managed to hold it. Yeah, he needs to get that badly broken car back to the pit lane. So yeah, Altsu and Botsy now leading this race. Gabor, if Gabor was running low fuel, then it might get close towards the end of the race. It might explain why Gabor was able to just disappear, but you can't imagine that 11 laps of fuel weighs a lot in this car. So unless he was just aiming to, refuel half his tank. We'll see, because he will have spent a long time stationary. Judging by, he is actually just coming out of the last corner now, so it's possible he put fuel in. It's unlikely.
When he crosses the line this time, LFS will give me the gap. "15 seconds adrift of Botsy."
So it's the same gap that Botsy had over Gabor last lap when Botsy pitted. So we'll see, because Botsy did end up very close to Gabor at the end. Sorry, Gabor ended up very close to Botsy at the end of the last race because of this pit strategy. So we'll see how if it happens again where Botsy ends up just behind Gabor, because there was a big gap between Botsy and Gabor when Gabor pitted. Botsy is leaving Altsu a little bit here.
Botsy should put in as good a laps as he can. And I would hope, if I was Botsy, that my teammate right behind me was also pushing like mad. Because if they could stay together, and when they come out, if they come out around the time of Gabor, Botsy could have his teammate function as a pick. And try and give Botsy a cheeky little slipstream, or perhaps make life just a little more difficult for Gabor.
Yeah, at this rate, it's going to be close, I reckon, between Botsy and Gabor when they emerge, when Botsy emerges from the pits whenever he chooses to pit. It's going to be very interesting at the top. I mean, credit to these guys. The top three in both races have managed to keep really close to each other, relatively, considering it's a 50-minute race, which is one of the longer races that happens in LFS these days. We don't see many endurance races in LFS, which leads us on nicely to, obviously, when the day-night cycle arrives in LFS, we're going to end up with a lot more endurance racing happening.
I am really looking forward to the day-night cycles. Ridzu has had a little more problems here. He's touring in from the final sector with left side dampers and left side control arms having seen much better days. So I'm wondering if he's hit the wall coming out of the chicane again.
His front wing is a lot shorter than it was. He's already been in the pit lane once, so he's not enjoying this reversed direction version of KY3.
No, sir.
What do you make of this direction? Which direction do you prefer? Is he's got to get out of the way? Yeah, nicely done.
On the whole, I like the normal forward direction better. The pit pit lane is better that way around. I do like the spoon curve the other way around, but generally I favor the forward direction more.
Yeah, I think it's more of a classic. I think it's yielded better racing in the times, and it is the way that it was designed to be built. You know, Eric has designed this track such that KY3 regular is better, I guess, or you know, has a better flow to it. Definitely, this way through the S's, the way it tightens up at the end, it does feel a bit awkward sometimes, especially this corner that Botsy and Altsu have just come through. It does feel a bit forced, especially because it's basically off camber. But yeah, we're currently on board with the rear view camera of Botsy. Altsu's really closed up on him now, so we'll see how this works out. They don't appear to be working together. Altsu is really pushing, unless Botsy's just making a few errors. This time across the line, it'll be 8 laps to go. That might sound like a small number, but around here, that is as near as makes no difference.
That's
about
at least
25
minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes at least. So across the line we go. Altsu not close enough.
As we watch Botsy and Altsu, MandulAA Racing's very first 24-hour race was held at Kyoto Grand Prix Long in the normal direction. It had been the first 24-hour race in LFS for years that wasn't at Aston Grand Prix. Because if you remember, Master of Endurance always ran their 24-hour race at Aston Grand Prix.
Yep.
So we decided we'd change it up, and we used KY3 with
the Buddha chicane. The only version of Kyoto that's any good.
Yeah. I think we had 2 or 3 safety cars, and they were all in the first half of the race. We had 2 in about an hour, within about an hour and a half, in like hours 4 and 5. We had another one in the early evening. But other than that, the race just ran. And there was a Genuine Racing GT1, or the Genuine Racing Pro car. That season we had a Pro and Am split. Everyone was in GT1 class cars, but we had a Pro split and an Am split. And the Gen R Pro car had gotten some engine damage in the middle of the night. I think Krasimir Ivanov had been in the car and had some unfortunate moments and hindered their engine performance. And the last lap, I think it was Terra Mine Factory team, caught them in the last hour and passed them on the line at the checker flag after 24 hours.
Wow. So what was the gap?
For the final podium spot. Half a car.
Okay, that is amazing.
If that.
That's the sort of finish you want to see in a 24-hour race.
Yeah.
Especially if you can see that gap kind of building up for a couple of hours, you know.
Yeah. It came out of nowhere. halfway, the Index Racing had won the race, and they'd just taken the checker flag, and Oscar Hardwick says, "Guys, we have a battle going on." And made an FM car off at the first corner. I think that was...
It's Eagle again. He's been off there before this race. Yep. So you're talking about Inex.
Another thing about that Hellenic Racing Team, the one of the better FXR teams of the day. At one point, during one of the safety cars early in the race, they had pitted just as the safety car was called. And then, in the time it took them to catch the safety car and everyone else to come, they put a lap on the entire... Oh, sorry, I'm getting my seats confused. This was the GT World Series 2014, which we had GT1, GT2, and Hellenic was in a GT2, and they took the GT2 class lead during a safety car because they basically got to lap the entire field because they pitted early, got wave around, and essentially lapped the entire GT2 field. And they went on to win the class. They lost the lap back, or everyone else gained back up later in the race.
Abe's just made a place on Jaroslav, sorry. Jaroslav got really wobbly out of the hairpin. Carry on.
Yeah. So yeah, FXR won a 24-hour race, which
is
usually the FXR... Yeah, because the FXR... We always...
Unless the balance of performance was favoured the FXR for some reason. Because that's the only thing that normally saves it, is a dodgy BOP. Bally smashes the wall.
They had a good strategy. Hellenic did that. Of any sim, LFS, I think, still is arguably the best for endurance racing. The driver swap system just works.
iRacing's has become okay, it's just sometimes it can bug out. And that's annoying. Like it did for me during Daytona.
You rarely ever have a problem with the actual driver swap code, you know.
Yeah, the only problem is the way that it works. Having to press the T during the in lap, and
it does be a bit of timing issue, but generally,
I've never had a problem with it in LFS. Yeah.
Every once in a while, if a driver gets a penalty coming in, there used to be a bug where if you had a penalty coming into the pits, it wouldn't let you take over.
Ah.
But I believe that got fixed some years ago.
I hope so.
But yeah, it's just it on the whole though, it's a really simple system. And once you get used to the flow that you have to do, the incoming driver comes in, hits the T, the driver in the car hits the T at the end of their pit stop to trigger the takeover before they roll away. And then suddenly you're in the car and the other person's no longer in the car. And it just generally works.
Yeah, what I would like to see is I would like to see the takeover system change such that when the driver is stopped in the pit box, you can press the T, and that there should be some sort of team registration system in LFS. Maybe if you could set up some sort of config such that the server knows which drivers are on which team. So other drivers, when the driver is in the pit box, they can remove a driver from the car and then join themselves. Something like the way iRacing's works. The good thing about the way that the LFS system works now is that it's kind of a permissions thing, right? The driver has to confirm the T in the pit box. So it's very simple, and it does save that kind of problem of having to arrange teams ahead of time. That's kind of the only advantage of it.
And in a way, it's kind of like real life, because in real life, the driver currently in the car has to physically get out of the car.
Yeah.
The second driver could just reach in there and rip them out, but with the way racing cars are now, that's not so easy. And you may have some words with your teammate when they get out of the car at the end of that stint. So in a way, it is like that. So when the incoming driver clicks the T, that's them standing right next to the car with their seat back ready to go in. And then when the current driver clicks the T, that's them getting out and pulling their seat back out. What I would like is I like your idea of having a way that the server admin can configure certain usernames to certain cars.
It's so someone can't click the T on some other driver to tactically screw up their pit stop, which has happened.
Yeah, and along with that too, it'd be nice if that could also be implemented in a way to keep tracking the teams even when they time out.
Exactly.
And be a way, and it just in general, if there was a way to have a persist of the driver's data based on a car.
Yeah, so that someone can time out and rejoin, and their damage is exactly the same as it was, and they don't lose their laps.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yes, because it would save.
Because that way we could have a setting in the server config that is type equals team or type driver, and if it's a team based, then it opens up. Then you have a separate file that is basically just, you could say, car type and driver names.
I mean, another thing is that it saves the admins a lot of work. In a 24-hour race, the admins have to be on LFS. They have to be glued to the screen. You cannot look away for a second, because if anyone times out, you have to give them their laps back, and that requires going through the replay, finding out what lap they were on when they timed out, and then reverting them to that lap -1.
The advantage we always had, of course, was
the tracker.
We had the tracker.
Yes.
So we could wait a minute, because we could see they timed out. We could go to the tracker and see how many laps they completed. Yeah, it might take another 30 seconds, but generally within a minute of them coming back, we'd add their laps.
Yeah, the point is it's still not baked into the game, as Kamikaze got a really nice run on Koivunen out of the turn 14. Seems to be a lot of action going down there. He's too close. He's going to get some airdrop. Yeah, he backs off. Just stick with him.
Real quick, Botsy is putting in some work. He's put about 1.5 seconds on Gabor.
Okay, interesting.
And so it's up to about 16.5 second gap.
So you have to think then, because of the way that the Gabor was just running away at the start, you have to assume that he's probably done something with fuel.
That could be.
Yeah. I hear a baby.
Yes,
happy baby.
My daughter is starting to. Yeah, she's starting to wake up. She smells food.
Food is happening. Altsu's dropped quite a way back from Botsy now. Sounds like a dog.
She had a nice long nap.
Nice long sleep.
Yes.
So she'll be up the whole night now?
Nah, she'll be in bed in about 3 hours for the night.
Gabor's just coming under the bridge. Who likes waking up? No one likes waking up.
If there's the smell of coffee, that helps though.
Or bacon.
Bacon is always a good choice for Bricky. We're on the anti-penultimate lap, I believe.
There's one more to go before that, yep.
Yeah, we'll be there. We're fixing to start.
This race seems to have
last but one ball.
Slightly quicker than the last one. I guess it's because there wasn't as much action in this one.
That, and we were occupying with some rubbishy things.
It wasn't rubbish, it was quality content.
I'm actually looking forward to the graphical update that's coming.
We all are.
LFS has always had reasonable graphics. It looks, you can believe it's a real thing.
Especially Rocky.
When you're actually, when you're on the circuit. When you get out of the bounds, all bets are off.
The FBM at Rockingham, that's as photorealistic as LFS gets currently. But it's still very nice looking.
Some of these screenshots that Scowen have been putting out and the work that Eric's done.
Yeah.
That's just phenomenal.
Eric's a genius. I mean, that's well documented. Eric is a track genius. He's designing better tracks than Tilke.
I am looking forward to some night running in tin tops.
I mean, I'm just looking forward to every single part of it.
Yeah, I am I'm hoping I'm sitting down when I see Fern Bay screenshot.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that's going to be the biggest shock. Well, we see the difference in Kyoto and the difference in Aston screenshots. The new West Hill beats the pants off old West Hill, but Fern Bay,
indeed. I thought that South City was the track I was most looking forward to being updated, but now that South City's out, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how I expected it. I know it's only half done at the moment. Like, there's definitely bits that are going to get changed, but yeah, Fern Bay.
The biggest thing I think that the community at large is going to want is don't disturb the character of Fern Bay. Fern Bay is our Nordschleife.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they could add a few longer sections to really make it kind of the Nordschleife of LFS. Because yes, FE4 is pretty long, but
it's still not the longest.
It's still not the longest.
Grand Prix is the longest in LFS.
Yep.
Nico Patola has done a layout on West Hill on the open configs that makes it like 19 or 20 kilometers.
I think on the... Is it... I forgot his name. Sinanju? I can't remember. He's made a 37-mile layout or something on West Hill.
I've heard it. Sermian has pit, by the way.
Sermian has pitted, okay.
That gets Gabor back into...
So there's only 4 people who haven't pitted.
Yeah.
Seven. Actually 10 kilometers, not like 19. Hi, Mom,
hello, who's that we've got?
Nico coming there.
That is Nico.
That sounds like Nico.
Yeah.
Hi,
Nico. Nico snuck into the booth. Hello.
We should have locked the door, Pete.
How long have you been here for?
A few minutes, yeah.
Oh goodness. Okay. Hello. I wasn't paying attention to Discord.
So we're on the penultimate lap. I expect Batsi, Altu, and Pedro should pit this time round, lest they receive a gift from the LFS gods.
Yeah, Koivunen's in. He's down to 8th already. And he's off 9th, 10th. Oh no, 9th. So yeah, it's only the top 3 who currently haven't pitted, so they're going to be in this lap. They have to.
The pit entry was critical last race. The exit will be most treacherous this time. Just shy of 18 seconds will be the gap from Gabor all the way up to Batsi.
This is going to be super close. This is going to be really close. Like, Gabor has clearly gone for a short fuel strategy to gain that initial time from pole. But now that he's on level fuel with Batsi,
17.7 seconds.
This is going to be close for the win. One of my best and worst races in the same race came at Aston in the FBM, with me and Troy battling first and second in Cityliga. I led for the whole race until the last lap when Troy came out on my front wing and took the win on the last lap because his pit stop was marginally better. It was amazing. The live stream of that is still online somewhere. So
okay, Batsi's on his way.
Yeah.
Gabor flashing across the start line now.
This is going to be so close.
Oh,
Batsi's on the grass.
This is going to be close.
This is going to be so close. This is going to be so close. Here we go. Here we go.
But can Batsi get those tires going?
Wow, this is amazing. I knew it was going to be close, but yeah, Gabor's just done enough to stay ahead. I do hope Gabor wins this because, I don't know, I'm biased.
Batsi got a bit of a twitch coming into pit lane. Locked the brakes right as he put the pit speed limiter in.
Gabor's gone for the risky strategy. I've never seen anyone pull this off before. The mid stint pit. Okay, he did have quite a lead, but yeah.
3/10 or 2/3 of a second in it, with just over half of a lap to go, and it's the technical half of the lap.
Let's see if Batsi can get anywhere near the draft of Gabor in this last few corners. Just note that Batsi has managed to close down the gap because the gap was not this big. Sorry, it was way bigger than this when Gabor pitted. So nose to tail they were in the last race, nose to tail they are in this race. These two are going to have one apiece. Really, really impressive, honestly. It's just considering they did no practice pretty much for this this second race. Yeah, Botsy's a bit out of shape here. He's I think he's realised that it's game over. Well, that was a worthwhile end. Fair play.
Ooh, does he try to handbrake it through the?
You can't handbrake in these cars anymore.
Oh yeah, he got rid of that, didn't he?
They did. No handbrake hacks while the
It's
car's
been a while
moving.
since I've driven.
Yeah, it must be. It was years ago that they took that out. So yeah, Botsy has conceded now. He's lost sight of Gabor's
Gabor
slipstream.
still has to make it out of the final corner without.
I trust him. He's managed it. So yeah,
he has indeed. Gabor will have a very fantastic win to add to his resume.
Followed by Botsy, and then it's Altsu. Sermi manages to keep himself out of trouble this race and finishes just off the podium in 4th. Then it's a bit of a gap back to Pedro. And then an even bigger gap back to Kamikaze. Gosh, he's like 3 corners away. I can forgive them, it's a 50-minute race and they've just done like an hour and a half of driving already. Plus this extra 50 minutes, so easily the longest set of races in LFS for a long time. The last proper endurance race in LFS was the Desire of Patience back in 2015, I want to say. And what did I do that race in? Was it the UFR? I can't remember. UFR at Aston Grand Prix, I think. Reversed. Sermilan, then it's Sick, then it's Pantheo. Coming up to take the checkered flag.
The DOP Tour races were always fantastic to see and participate in.
They were. Then it's Fin UK in 8th. Well done. Then it's Ayub. Oh, this is close. Oh no, it's not. That's a back marker. So yeah, Ayub crosses the line. Who's that with him? Was that Rain? Possibly. Catilla.
Yeah, Rain just completed.
Yeah. So Rain is a back marker, but yeah, Catilla.
Payson and Christian are the last two that will see the checkered flag, and Christian may have a shot at Payson through the last corner. May not.
Bit far. Bit far away.
Christian has been catching very discernibly, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough.
Both these drivers have pitted twice in this race, so they've been through the wars. Oh, mind you, look at this. Look at this.
Oh no!
Oh he's on the grass.
Throw it away.
No, he threw it away at the last second. Oh.
He had a
hell of a run.
Brilliant run. That was a perfect run. He would have outdrug it.
I think dragged. Outdrugged someone.
Oh.
That's funny.
Bugger
Sorry. But yeah, Payson got an absolutely shocking exit there. So
we've had 20 racers finish our second race. It's half that started the first race, so that's still a good number that hung out all the way through the end. These nearly 3 hours of qualifying and racing all put together. Gabor wins from Botsy. Once again, Botsy this time taking the fastest lap. So the winner not getting the fast lap today. Botsy's fastest lap at 2:14.8. Gabor's fastest lap was a 2:15.23. Race 2 finished in 50 minutes 16.55 seconds. Altsu finishes out the podium 5 seconds shy. Serbian 8.5 seconds back. Pedro 5th, 16 seconds adrift. Kamikaze 6th, Sick is 7th. 8th is Pantheo. Fin UK 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Ayub a minute 9 behind. Katia in 11th. Yaroslav 12th. Bali 13th. Koivunen in 14th. Payson and Christian rounding out the top 16. Christian, the last car on the lead lap. 2 minutes 3.63 seconds, just shy of a lap. 2 stops for Payson and Christian, and also 2 stops for Rain. Ridzu finishing last with 4 stops. 1 lap down all Karzi, Eagle, and Rain. And then 20th and last, Ridzu 3 laps down after making 4 pit stops with multiple instances of damage throughout the race. So that was some fantastic racing today.
Yeah, it was excellent. So that concludes the 500th I guess does that make it the 501st race? I don't know, but I guess it's the 500th round
meeting.
Meeting. Yes, exactly. So,
But yeah, this was.
Yeah, this was good.
So, Nico still here?
Yeah.
Well,
What's up?
how was your race? What happened there when?
Yeah, we
race
missed it.
two,
We missed
Race
it.
wasn't as fine. Yeah, I got I took myself out in lap 4. I did a dump move and took 2 guys out.
Well, you didn't just take yourself out.
Yeah. I kind of tried to cut into the inside and tried to catch the curb, but I missed the curb and totally just hit a car on the side, and then I spectated there. But race 1 was fine. I got took out in T1, but then tried to take some space, but yeah. I think it went fine, but yeah.
You had a very good first race, though.
Well, yeah. So,
just missing a top 5.
Yeah, I could have done better if I hadn't got collected in T1, I guess. But I got myself a good pace in the end.
Awesome.
Very good action with the Fox today here at Kyoto Grand Prix Long. Very, very racy car.
Yeah, shame you got tangled up in incidents there, Nico, because you could have been close to the podium, I reckon.
Yeah, could have been, but it's fine. It's only like fun racing in Fragmasters anyway, so don't usually take it that seriously. So
You should take every race you do seriously.
yeah, well,
even bump and jump.
Depends on like the situations, I guess.
Cool. Well, we can have a quick discussion. I don't know how long you've got, Deco, but this has already been a pretty long evening. But yeah, I guess to recap, really strong performance from Botsy, Gabor, and Altsu throughout each of those 2 races. Fair play to Gabor though. He is, of all the people I've been seeing, he's definitely been one of the most improved drivers of recent times. To beat Botsy at anything is an impressive thing. So for him to very comfortably this time beat Botsy with a risky strategy, that is credit where credit's due. What do you take away from this race?
That was impressive from Gabor and Botsy. The just be able to press this car flat out for 2 hours plus over 2 separate races.
On 2 separate configs, let's not forget.
Indeed, yes. And to be able to turn configs as quickly as they did is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean,
and
was it Gabor? Yeah, it was Gabor who set the early pace and quali just like slammed in a 31.
Yeah, he was right there. He was into the 215s immediately. Everyone else took a couple extra laps to get there.
Botsy was in the 14s this race, which is even more impressive.
And just pull both Botsy and Gabor, the strategy choices. Good of Gabor to try the other strategy and Botsy to try the other strategy. And when you're the leader, that gives you a bit of a disadvantage because you get to set the pace. Everyone else reacts to you. So Botsy would have seen Gabor going in the pits the second race and decided, I have enough fuel, I can stay out longer. Or deciding, that first race, me doing half the race half empty and the rest of the way half full, didn't work so well. So he tried the opposite way. Didn't work for him. Gabor executed the half full, half empty strategy to a T.
Yeah, definitely. I can't remember the last time I saw that strategy working, especially not against Botsy.
But yeah, that's a very good group of racers that we had.
Oh yeah, the
today.
standard was pretty high, even though the grid was quite disparate after a while. The caliber of drivers in Fox Fridays has always been pretty high. But yeah, today more so because of obviously the occasion.
Yeah, there's always, in races like this, there's always some level of a few people that come in and kind of lose the plot before they even get it and cause some problems. But once we got past those first couple starts and everyone settled into a rhythm, we had some really good, clean racing today, Mr. Pete.
We did, and it was fun to drive. Thanks for co-commentating with me at late notice. I only asked you about.
Oh, you are very
ago.
welcome. Thank you for inviting me in.
We'll do it again sometime, hopefully.
Yes, indeed. We need to make this a regular thing, and it's good to see that there's still. It's really good to see that there's still a community here in Live for Speed, and
there's
enough people to still have.
It's a niche one, but yeah, some people still keen to drive in it. So while there are people to drive, there will be people who will be organising races.
Absolutely, and a big thanks to Fragmasters for running these events
for the last 10 years. So. Yeah.
Good,
and
very
and
good.
Longer than
getting
that,
to
actually.
500.
So yeah. God, I remember back to. Honestly, it feels longer than 10 years, but I remember back to the early days of Fox Fridays, and yeah, it's a shame that some of the old crowd have moved on. The FM failures of the world and the Sammy Littmanens, but yeah, it's been a heck of a history, and there's still, FM is still an active team. Like there's a good amount of drivers who've, Fraz, for example. Fraz has been around for as long as I can remember. Remember Fraz from Oval Junkies days, like 2006, 2007.
Can you remember?
Hello.
The Oval Junkies was a big. Oval Junkies was a big affair back in the days.
Back in the days, yeah. Oval Junkies was life. We've been joined by FFM Fin UK and Christian as well here. If you guys want to say a few words about tonight's event and the series in general.
Yeah, hello there. Yeah, my first race as a Fragmaster team member.
Hey!
So it's my debut races.
Better late than never.
Failed the first time. Failed the first one, but the second one got 9. So for 9 players.
We lost you there for a second. I assume you said 9th place.
Yeah, that's it. My microphone's terrible. But I can remember Fraz. He used to run a 360 series race back in must be 2005, and we did 360 laps of KY1 Oval. That was a hell of a race.
In what car? The BF1. Because 2005 was the
V8,
first
the old
day,
V8.
first days of S2.
Oh yeah, the FO8. Yeah.
Yeah, FO8.
Yeah,
what a car!
The high nose days when the nose was high.
I will argue to my dying day that the FO8 is the best single seater in LFS, if not the best car.
The FO8 is the best single seater in LFS. You don't have to argue.
Driver aids, none. Power,
lots.
Of it.
Like starting in that car consistently is an absolute challenge, even today. Like getting a good start in that car is a real driver's challenge based on an old Formula 3000 car. So.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
It's a car that rewards good drivers and punishes the ever-loving murder out of horrible drivers.
But we're not allowed to talk about the FO8 here because we're here for Fox Fridays. Why is there not an FO8 Fridays? Come on, FM, get your act together. Switch it up. We've had 500 of these now. We're all bored. FO8 Fridays. Maybe we need to make FO8 Saturdays. I don't know. The FO8 needs more love.
Maybe I'll bring Elvis Cart back.
Do it.
I'll have to invite FM.
So yeah, Christian, you there?
Yeah, I am here. Yeah.
How was your races?
I'd say overall pretty decent. Nothing too big to complain about.
I saw you had a couple of offs in the second race. You were in the gravel pit at turn 14 a couple of times, I noticed.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I was really happy with the pace I had on the second race, but suddenly, I guess it was lap 16 or 17, I just suddenly lost it on a fast left-hander. I have no idea what happened, but the rears went off just out of nowhere. And well, the result can be seen from P5 or P6 to P16, so it's pretty brutal if you crash.
Did you enjoy
pretty
yourself?
far. Yeah, I enjoyed. I had better pace than I ever had in any single race, and it's always a pleasure to race with a good group of drivers.
Well, we certainly had a good group of drivers today. I think the best of the best were here from the last few years, so it was good to see. Fenn, you were about to say something before I interrupted to bring Christian into the discussion. Anything you want to bring up?
Yeah, but well, I think actually I spun just behind Christian, and I wiped him out again.
Yeah, I just got my car the right way around, and then suddenly just Finn comes out of nowhere.
Backwards, spinning around. I don't know. I did the exact same things as what you did on that last turn.
Yeah, I just didn't go to the grass. I had just so horrible damage there that I couldn't take it through the corner even with a slow speed.
Who was it on the final corner who had a run on? Was it Payson? Was it you, Christian?
Yeah.
In the last lap.
The last corner or the last lap, you had someone had a huge run on Payson. I can't remember whether it was you or not. And then you put it in the grass.
It was Christian.
It was Christian.
I was chasing. Yeah, I was chasing Payson there, and yeah, I had to take a risk in order.
No, it was good.
It
was good because he ruined the last corner, and you just put it on the grass to try and get a bit of a run on him, and sadly it didn't pay off. We were jumping up and down.
Yeah, to be honest, it was a desperate try to go a bit too fast considering the line I got there. So I don't really know what to say about the move. It was just a desperate try to get pace on. Even if I would got through clean on the corner, I guess I would have taken the P15 anyways.
I would rather have you tried your hardest and do that instead of just give up and take a safe spot.
Yeah, I gave my all there, but it wasn't enough. Not enough skill there.
That was very, very good stuff, though, guys.
If I can just add, I was actually faster than Al Payson on both races. You know, I've got the paint now. This is the same on the car as Al's, and all of a sudden I've got faster.
Well, you know, the FM skins are worth half a second. So yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's slippy paint.
Better paint. Piece of interview saved somewhere because that citation for Finn has to be saved somewhere.
It's a super lightweight paint that takes.
Well, it's a matte paint, like you know, all the F1 teams are just matting up their cars to be more slippy. There's science behind the crappy Ferrari livery now. Unfortunately, slippy paint.
Yeah. So for me, basically, to beat Payson, I have had to become Payson, and it's working for me.
To conquer Payson, you must become Payson.
And on that note, I'm going at night. Cheers.
Cool.
All.
It is late. Cheers, Finn.
Good night to you, Finn.
All right, Jaroslav. I'm probably pronouncing that all wrong.
Yeah, but it's okay. Jaroslav is okay.
How do you pronounce your name?
Yaroslav.
Yaroslav. I thought it was. Okay. How did you find your race or races in your pink FOX?
Well, first of all, this was my first FM Fox Friday.
Well, you joined at a good time.
I do not usually drive Fox, but Michael from MRC team told me that this Friday is a bit special for Fragmaster team and all drivers participating here. So I gave it a shot and I enjoyed pretty good 2 races.
Wow, as long as you enjoyed yourself, that's the main thing. Any highlights or lowlights?
Well, I did one critical mistake because I left the stream on, and towards the end of the second race, I was more listening to Deko's memories about races in the past.
Why would you do that, Yarrow?
Well, I don't know why I left the stream on, but it was pretty enjoyable listening to Deko's memories because he can remember a lot of things, and I participated in many races that he was talking about, and I was also a bit tired, so I made
You
a
just have
couple
to
of
remember,
errors.
though.
You're just like nostalgia. Nostalgia got too much. I'm just going to tune out from the racing that's happening and just listen to the radio, basically.
I still don't remember as much as Mr. Dom Engel.
Oh yeah, Dom remembers almost everything.
Well, yeah, I did ask Dom about coming on today, so I don't know. Maybe we could get Dom in here for a bit of nostalgia. Let's see if I can get him on.
That would be fantastic.
Let's have a look, shall we? Let's see if Dom is around for a quick chat. He is not, unfortunately. He's offline. But yeah, Dom is yeah. What team did you used to drive for, Yaroslav?
Well, I'm the most of my career I was in a Savage Sim Sports team.
Savage,
yeah.
Martin Kapal and Eric Blix.
Yeah, my great teammates, and I remember those 24-hour races at Kyoto, especially the one at Kyoto Grand Prix Long that Deco was talking about those two safety cars. I remember that the second one was caused by me. Yeah, because I had a mysterious puncture on my XRR on lap 20 or so. I didn't know that, and I got it in a right-hander right under a bridge, and I got stuck in a gravel. So that brought the safety car. So I remember that very well.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, it's so long ago now. Yeah, cool. Well, hopefully we can bring back these good times when the graphics update comes out, and we hopefully a bit of life comes back to Live for Speed, a little bit more life than currently exists. I am keen to wrap the stream up, so unless anyone has any parting words, we can carry this discussion on afterwards in the FM Discord. But yeah, thanks for racing. Thanks for coming to chat to us.
Thank you all for racing indeed. Thanks for the time you spend with us after.
Cool. Anyone still watching and anyone watching the stream on replay, you can come and join in with Fox Friday every single Friday at about 8:30 UTC, 9:30 CET, and the combo for next week I believe is SO6, so South City Chicane route in the FOX.
SO6 reverse.
Okay. Well, I thought that Gabor changed his mind, so SO6 reverse.
Oh, I don't know if he changed, but
it's one of them.
What I saw was SO6.
It's SO6R.
SO6R. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. See you guys next week. Have a good one.